Thank you so much.
Waiting for the East Africa anthem.
Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Uzalendo pia mshikamano viwe msingi wa umoja wetu, na tulinde uhuru na amani, mila zetu na desturi zetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Viwandani na hata mashambani, tufanye kazi sote kwa makini, tujitoe kwa hali na mali, tuijenge jumuiya bora. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Thank you so much. You can have our seats. Yes. So right about now, I would like to welcome a gentleman to officially welcome us to this event. And it's none other than the president of Daystar University, Walter Nalwa. Let's appreciate Walter Nalwa as he comes to the stage. Tumappreciate akikuza. He has a favorite quote that says, "A short man is not a boy."
Okay. To our chief guests, all the invited guests, fellow student leaders, students, presidents, and everyone in the room. God is good, and all the time. It's a pleasure and it's an honor, we as Daystar University, to have a privilege of hosting this great occasion of sensitizing on peace. This is a follow-up on a peace and voter education exercise that has been conducted in different counties at different levels across the country. And this is a comrades edition that we as Daystar University have decided to lead in front and say that we are not going to allow our country to go back to rags, or people to lose their lives, or to be disorder, and stand up and say we have undergone higher education, and we have undergone learning, and we know what it takes and how conflicts, the impacts that conflicts can cause. Peace is what determines our social life. So we have no choice but to uphold peace. Without peace, I do not believe all of us could be at this position right now. Right now, the prices of unga, the prices of mafuta, haijapanda kwa mtu wa Kiambu. Price ya unga haijapanda kwa mjaka peke yake. Price ya unga inakata cross. Sisi wote tunalia unga ni shilingi 200. Ikipunguzwa imepunguzwa shilingi 2. So all of us are complaining about it. What can we do about it? It's by us standing firm and saying that as youth, as student leaders, we've come from different regions, different parts of this country. We've come from different tribals. We've come from different religions, and we have been studying together. Some of us are in their 4th years, but we've never had conflict with our friends. But when it comes to election, this is now the period now we want to show ourselves how superior my tribe is over the other. As student leaders, I'd like to request as one thing. Yes, you are affiliated to Azimio. Yes, you are affiliated to Kenya Kwanza. You are affiliated to Roots Party and any other party. But be affiliated with it, but don't try and infringe on other person who don't agree with you. You have the freedom, you have the liberty of choice. But that does not mean that you go along vindicating the other people who don't go along with what you do. So as Daystar University, I highly welcomed you all to this event, and I believe it's going to be impactful. And when we leave this room, all of us as student leaders, we are going to spread the word of peace. We are going to say that amani ni jukumu langu. We are going to say that hii Kenya ni yetu. We are going to say that we are not going to allow any form of disorder in this country. As student leaders, imagine you are a 4th year right now, but you are supposed to graduate in November for the case of Daystar University students. But if it happens that there is conflict in this country, that's going again to deter you from graduating, and it's going to deter you from achieving your dreams in time. And by the time we want to achieve whatever we want, we will be old. We will no longer be youth. This is the only opportunity we have to showcase that as youth, our majorityness can have an impact in this country. So I urge us, COVID struck us a year ago. Right now, we are still crumbling in the name of COVID. Previously, there was an attempt to say because of the wars of Ukraine and Russia, now everything, the prices of commodities are going up. What if, again, we allow our country, motherland Kenya, to get into riots? So as student leaders, as students, as Kenyans, I want to urge us, let's uphold peace. Amani ni jukumu langu, elections bila noma, na pamoja tutaeneza amani, si ndio? So to that point, I'd like to request the students president in the room just to rise up so that people can know who is in the room. The students president, former and current, all of us, kindly.
Round of applause for them, kindly.
I see Daystar University, Mount Kenya University, Pwani University, Moi University, and who else is not present? Okay. The rest will be introduced as they come in. Any governors, ministers, treasurers, and any positions that you hold in your institutions of higher learning, kindly let's stand and see who are represented. Governor Yoen, Riara University, see you. At Technical University of Kenya. Thank you so much. Let's clap for them. It's a privilege to have you all. I urge us to have an interactive session and get to know all the means that we can use to uphold peace and prevent any form of that can cause emotional disturbance between we the youths, so we should not cause chaos at all. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Bwana President. Daktari, usishtuke atu, ushangae Bwana President, ukiwa huku, huyu ndio...
A short man is not a boy.
Huyu ndio kiongozi.
Sawa.
Yeah. So maybe Joel, you can tell us the hashtags as we move on.
Yes, definitely. And when he was talking about unga and stuff, I was remembering something the guy here said. Alisema kama wataki Waluya Nairobi waseme. Anyway, just to remind you the hashtags for today, take a selfie, take a picture, post on any social media platform. The person to reach to 50 reactions, not likes, reactions. On any social media platform, I have a gift for you. The hashtags for today are NSLF, Nairobi Students Leaders Forum, Daystar University, Adams, Kenya. And the main hashtag for today is Amani ni jukumu langu. Repeat after me. Amani ni jukumu langu. Let's cause traffic on Twitter, manze. Let's spread peace. Are we together?
Yeah.
Yes.
Also to add on that, I can see Daktari is on point there. Man, if you're not doing this, then I don't know why you're here.
Manze.
This is it. Yeah, this is it.
Nimesikia kiambia boen lazima ikituni part.
Yeah, naambia prof, come in, let me show you. But anyway, also we have a giveaway to the 20th follower. Naona we started at 2, I think. Now we are at 8 followers. The 20th follower on Nairobi Student Leaders Forum. We have a giveaway from none other than Bwana Adam Stuva. That's by Domains Kenya.
Yes.
Let me tell you a fun fact. He cannot remember, but when I started working, he was my first boss.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Tumpigie makofi.
Yeah, he was actually my first boss.
He must be looking at you and saying, I'm proud.
Yes, I'm sure he is. But he'll let me know after this, right? So yeah, the 20th follower, kindly, we will give you something. But right about now, I want to introduce our mom. She has, let me tell you, Mimi, if I'm to talk about her, I'll even write a book. The amount of times she's held me down, and she's held the students of Daystar University down.
Yes.
Hey, she's an amazing woman, a woman of God. She's our associate dean, but now currently acting dean. None other than Madam Grace Karanja. Round of applause for this beautiful, beautiful young girl.
Our chief guests, Dr. Mutua, distinguished guests invited, our principal Nairobi campus, Professor Bowen, also representing our management and the VC, our main host, Nairobi Student Leadership Forum, Daystar, all student leaders, ladies and gentlemen, let's all say together, Amani ni jukumu langu. And let me try what we learned in Nairobi the other week. Comrades, peace. Can you do that? Comrades, peace. We are here because we want peace. And mine is very simple, to welcome you to Nairobi campus, although my principal will declare this meeting officially open. Let me just take a minute to recap what we learned in UON. And the theme has been peace, peace, peace. Na tukasema nitatenda wajibu wangu. It was part of the hashtags. And wajibu wangu include, I want to use the acronym PEACE, P for participation, getting involved and encouraging others to get involved in the voting process. and in Kenya building activities. E standing for empathy, listening and understanding, diverse perspective, and remaining tolerant. Because I have a view, you have a view, you have a perspective, I do have the same. We don't have to fight about our subjective choices. So listening and understanding, and I know the youth have been reading these 7 habits of successful people. Seek to understand, and then seek to be understood. Thank you very much. And A standing for advocacy, making the case for positive change in our community as Kenyans and as student leaders. I like what our President Nalwa said, vijana hatutanunuliwa, away with hooliganism. We want a Kenya that is prepared to be handed over to us in one piece, not pieces. Comrades, peace. And C for community building, and strengthening connections and capacity. And part of why we are here today is to also strengthen connections. And the last letter of peace is E, empowerment, inspiring others to foster peace and to helping them gain the skills and tools to succeed. I do hope that each one of us is a registered voter, and that we will also proceed and do wajibu wetu. And one more thing before I invite the principal, when I told my youngest daughter is in Form 3, my other children, some of your ages, I was just talking to the former president of Moi University, my alma mater, and when he told me the year he was born, I told him that's the year I got my second born. So I have older children and younger ones. So when I told the younger one, they are on a 10-day break. I am going to be welcoming the student leaders in our campus and telling them about peaceful election. And she said, Mom, you're good at acronyms, just get one. Just get one. And so I told her, like, which one? And then she said, the one you told the youth in our church. And the acronym is THINK. 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 And I know some of you know it, but I want to repeat this. Before you say anything, before you post anything, before you TikTok anything, before you do all the works in the social media, let's use the acronym THINK. And T, we ask ourselves, is it true? Because majority of our leaders are also peddling a lot of lies and propaganda. You just decide to start a narrative about somebody else, you gerrymander them, you character assassinate them. Ask yourself as a good, responsible citizen comrade, is it true? And secondly, ask yourself, is it helpful? Is it helpful? Am I targeting distraction? Number 3, ask yourself, is it inspiring? I like a good handover between 4th years, 1st years, like that, generation after generation. And if we are going to hand over a Kenya that is good, we have to do things and talk about things that are also inspiring. And N is for, is it necessary? There are many things we know, but we have to say them. Are they necessary? And lastly, is it kind? We are good ambassadors of God. We are good ambassadors for our nation. Let us think before we act, before we say something, before we write something, before we TikTok something. Let us remember to take our responsibility. So for me, I want to end by saying nitatenda wajibu wangu na amani ni jukumu langu. And without further ado, I want to invite Professor Bowen. He's our principal, Nairobi campus. He will be welcoming you to this place. And I want to thank you very much for attending this day seminar. Karibuni sana.
Thank you, Grace. I have many notebooks here. I'll read from one of them. But just to mention and to welcome our guests, we truly appreciate these high caliber profile guests. It basically tells us the value that we attach to peace. I mean, I met them briefly. And if you see if you listen to them, the things they have done, I was wondering why Nalwa didn't bring everybody here, so that I'm sure we'll get very important information. So we'd like to appreciate our guests. I didn't get to know all of them, so let me not attempt, because I can't even connect their names to the institutions. They came a bit late. Maybe we need to make a little bit of noise for our high-profile guests coming in late. But we appreciate, we understand that they are busy people. So can we give them a clap? And specifically Dr. Mutua, who is our chief guest. We appreciate your standing for values in this nation. I think it has even costed you, but it's okay. And I would like us young people to emulate him, you know. Let's stand for what we believe in, irrespective of whether sometimes we are the only one that is believing in it. One of the things that really puts me down is to see young people that stand for nothing, you know. So let's stand for something. But I'm so happy for you that is here. You stand for peace. I'm sure you probably, some of us had classes, you had other things that you would have done, but you are here. So we'd really like to appreciate what you stand for. So let's stand for something, and this is what we need to do. So right from the onset, just like Madam Grace said, and I would like to appreciate the Office of the Dean of Students through Madam Grace, our DUSA government, through the President, Nalwa, for organizing this forum. And of course, even the wider team, the national team, we would like to appreciate this. I'm sure even as you meet together, you know, we also have quarrels among universities. The University of Nairobi is this, Daystar is this, these other universities this. So we even start to appreciate one another. So I'd like to appreciate this organization. For those of us that schooled in those olden days, I'm sure Dr. Mutua, we need to sit and compare how old he is and how old I am. But we went to school when national schools were national schools, you know. And right from the village, and most of us, we actually came right from the village inside. It was the first time we put on a shoe. And therefore, you know, you have these perceptions about who a Kikuyu is, who a Luya is, who a Mkamba is, you know. But then as we studied together from Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 5, Form 6, we realized they're just like us. So we started accepting them. And I think it's a good thing that we are seeing in this nation. I think that concept of national schools is coming back. So that it's not just the counties, you know. So you are a Kamba, you go to a Kamba school, you are married by a Kamba, you know, and you are a Kalenjin, you go to a Kalenjin school, you know. But as we were thoroughly crossbred, you know, you meet somebody from Kwale, you know, you meet somebody from Turkana. There's a young man called Mowato from Turkana that was studying with me. So yes, I really used to think that I was a little bit far behind, but that fellow looked far behind than me, you know. But that's a kind of thing that brings Kenyans together, you know. So if somebody talks bad now about probably some tribe, I know they are not like that. I can pinpoint. I'm able to say, people say maybe Kikuyus are tribal. I can say Grace is not, you know, because I've met her, I've worked with her, and I know her, you know. So that's the importance of this, and we need to keep doing this. Probably most of us are from Nairobi. Dr. Mutua, I'm sure you've seen the intermarriage. Our children don't care. They don't care. Some of us old folk have been forced not to talk negative about another tribe, because now you have them inside, you know. When you have meetings at home, you can't talk about politics and say the Kambas, the Kikuyus. No, you know. And we appreciate you young people because you have transcended those boundaries. You have refused to stay within those boundaries. And I know it causes heartache for some of us, but it's okay. You know, we are making a new Kenya. And so we'd like to appreciate what you people are doing. Before I forget, and then, you know, the VC can sack me. So let me bring his greetings and his welcome, his words of welcome. He welcomes you. He welcomes this initiative that we have. Our Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic Affairs would have been here. She also sent an apology because of some commitment that she was unable to come. Our other DVC, Finance, Administration, and Planning, also sends their greetings and welcome. So please feel welcome at Daystar. We appreciate the universities that are represented here. I've had a number of them, so we'd like to say thank you for coming to Daystar, and we really appreciate. Now, briefly, I just want to, I'm not part of the speakers, so just my job is almost done, just to welcome us, and I think I'm almost done. So when Nalwa asked me to say something, he talked something like the role of university education in peace building. So I just say a few points, and then I will sit down. Daystar University is a Christian university, a liberal arts Christian university. What does that mean? We fight with these fellows, including Muchoki here. We keep including Marco. When they come to first year, they do courses that they wonder, what on earth is this? I came to do a course in peace building, and you're asking me to do culture. I came to do a course in chemistry. You're asking me to do culture or biology, you know. So that's what we do. We give our students a 360-degree view of life so that they are not narrow, you know. Life is interconnected. And by then we fight in first year, second year, third year, fourth year. But wait, when they go out there and they come back, after 5 years, they say it was important that we learned those courses. So that's what we call liberal arts Christian university. And for us as a Christian institution, as far as peace building is concerned, and again, I want to fault Nalwa and the Dean of Students. We normally start with devotion here. And I wonder, so today I'll be the pastor. I'm not going to do devotion. But we normally do that. So just the fact that we're a Christian university in itself connotes that we are peace building. That is the implication, actually. Just to give us some foundational issues, the Word of God says in the book of Matthew 5:9, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God." That implies that the Bible appreciates that there will be lack of peace. Yeah? So we are just getting into what God would like us to do, you know. So, and we can see there is lack of peace in various places, especially in the northern part of this country. Between the Pokot and the Marakwets and the Turkanas, there's been quite some lack of peace. In our own homes, maybe there is lack of peace. Let me even let us know that part of the reason why we have trouble really at the national or county level is because people do not have peace within themselves. And you can't give what you don't have. Have you stayed close to somebody and you find this person so quarrelsome? It is not it is that they don't have the peace themselves. And so I want to let us know that we need to begin with ourselves. We need to begin with our own selves as far as peace is concerned. And then, of course, it means that we need to actively look for peace. And this is one forum that we're actually trying to do. And the Bible says blessed, you know. And when the Bible says blessed, it means that we are blessed even today, Dr. Mutua, to talk about peace. Because This is what God, and God, by the way, God is not Christian. I don't know whether you know that. God is God. If you know God, we all belong to God, irrespective of where you are. So it is important for us to know that we get blessed when we talk about peace, when we are actively looking for peace. Romans 5:10 talks about enmity between man and God. And Jesus coming in between to create peace between you and God, between me and God. And Jesus coming in between. And therefore, then we have peace. And so that's something that we'd like to say. Now, I think I did mention Daystar, for example, and I'm sure University of Nairobi took more university, the other universities as well. We have a mix of students, just like I said earlier on. So we are able to appreciate one another, even from our different backgrounds. And that is part of peace building. Our universities, that is why, and I agree totally with the government, you don't tribalize a university, wherever it is. Even if it is in, which is the most remote part, even if it's in Turkana, you must, Turkana not necessarily, and let me be careful here so that I don't say that Turkana is very remote. That would be wrong. But then you can't have Turkanas in that university all through, right from the VC, the DVCs. That is not good, So this mix, and then even in terms of admitting students, we should make sure that we have a national outlook, even in the way we admit our students. And in that way, that is the process in which we can actually be able to start peace building. So how then do universities actually do this? I had zeroed in probably on Daystar. The curriculum, the curriculum that we teach. At Daystar University, we have a Department of Peace. Can you imagine? Department of Peace. And you can imagine the things that we teach. For 4 years, we teach you about peace and peace building. And so this is part of what you do. I'm sure other universities probably have some. Maybe you have even some units. It may not be a whole department, but you have a number of units. So this is the contribution of the University, Dr. Mutua, as far as peace is concerned. And people get to understand, because we do research. Once we have these departments and we're actually able to do research. Let me tell you about the nexus between politics, tribalism, and resources. Kenya's problem is not even tribalism. That is not the problem of Kenya. The problem of Kenya is how we share resources. That is where the problem is. Then politicians, they use this, and you now know that if the governor is from your village or from your location or the president, then you're likely to get more roads, you're likely to get more water, you're likely to get more health facilities. So it becomes a problem. So people now try to make sure that they have their person in, and that's how the populace is roped in, And this is where really the challenge we see. So that nexus, our problem is not tribalism. Let nobody cheat you. Because it's the politicians who use the tribalism to try and make us disagree and fight, So our problem really is resources. Even if you look at DRC, we have many students from DRC here. Their problem is resources. And now their problem is even international. Because we have these hawks, sharks that come from wherever. Could be China, it could be US, France, wherever it is. They try to get the resources from there. And they cause instability and they cause lack of peace. So the kind of research that we do really shows, and I like the concept of devolution. We need to improve devolution even more. And because then we will know that you don't need a president for you to be able to get a road. We need to increase the funding to devolution, And this competition at the national level is actually likely to reduce. So these are some of the things that I think we could do. And of course, again, through such forums that we can organize as a university or as universities. I just hear that University of Nairobi did one. As I conclude, in the last, the post-election violence, 2007, 2008, Daystar played a significant role, though more after. In terms of counseling, we have a counseling department, a psychology department, and we really, in fact, we went to the internally displaced camps, and I'm sure Grace probably was part of this, and we offered support in terms of in terms of psychological support, in terms of counseling, and therefore we were then able to do that. So this is something that we need to do, and just to again appreciate, and therefore. Also to welcome us into this forum. And like Grace said, she didn't write for me what to say when you say that I now declare this function officially opened. God bless you and welcome to Daystar.
Let's appreciate Professor Bowen. So now, Joel.
Yes.
Yeah, if Professor Airo is to come here, sisi tuko na ruhusa.
Tuko na ruhusa kabisa.
Si ndio, Madam Grace?
Yes.
Tuko na ruhusa. Shout out to our VC, Bwana Professor Laban Airo. Tumpigie makofi in absentia.
In absentia.
Yes.
You could probably be watching us live.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Prof.
Yeah, we are live on Daystar University. Twende pale. Bring those comments.
Yeah, so guys, nisikwe muongo, I have a bag here. And when Adams is smiling, I was like, yes, she has. Yeah, so I have a bag here, yeah?
Yes.
I promised the 20th Twitter follower kwa National Students Leaders Forum. Ndio hii goodie bag. The 20th person. Also shout out to Bwana President Marco Laboso, naona ametweet pale amesema tupo site.
Kata
simu. Shout out to you, Marco. Let's keep the conversation going and glowing.
Hey, yes. Pole, sorry. Going and glowing. Okay.
Going and going, yeah?
Yes.
We already know the hashtag. Maybe I can just do a random walk. Unajua tujue kama watu wamesahau. Before we introduce our next amazing guest who will do a capice for us. Chani site a capice, but a piece. Just randomly, yeah? Chani kuja hapa mbele.
Yeah. The hashtags for today.
Yeah, mshahara isipoingia nikianza kulia serikali, mnajua shida ilianzia wapi. So maybe Daktari, you can tell us one hashtag for today.
Hashtag Comrade Peace.
Yes, let's give him a round of applause. Okay. Hey, watu wametense. Don't worry, nimemaliza for now.
Kuna watu wanaangalia kando. Ako usinite.
Kando ama wanatoa hata handkerchief. Hey, joto imezidi. Yeah? So maybe I can just randomly, yes, come here. Aside from Comrade Peace, which other hashtag do we have running?
Amani ni jukumu langu.
Wewe, wapi makofi yake?
And who are we tagging? Hey, you're ready. Who are we tagging? Where?
Na vile alikuwa nakanika kwa site.
Tupo site. Hizo ni zile za vibes and
content zero.
Aya, acha nikuje hapa the gentleman in red. Yes, what are we tagging? Hey, nakwambia Google.
Bro.
Daktari, you tell us how they were surviving. During their time, how they were surviving. Because now we have Google. Unaingia tu Google mbio.
Yes.
But anyway, hata kama maybe
smoke signals.
So, maybe he can tell us. What other thing are we tagging?
Buffering.
National Students Leaders Forum.
Let's appreciate him.
There we go. So maybe Joel, you can introduce our next artist.
Yes.
Maybe just give a little background, kidogo.
One.
Kama ulifanya research yako. You know one thing about a host, it's the toughest job ever. Let me tell you, you have to research. Right now, I can tell you 5 facts about Daktari here, and you didn't know. And him himself will be so surprised. Oh, that's me. Oh, nice. Good job. That's the most amazing thing about being a host, yeah?
Yes.
So, Joel, did you do your assignment?
Yes, I did.
Please.
Nisaidia mic yako. Sijui nimefanya nini.
Na hapa wamesema usikatie nini?
Ngoma.
Na tumelipia leseni.
I don't know, but anyway. Sawa, 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 sawa. So I am not a pastor, with all due respect, but I want you to turn to your neighbor. Sivyo ndo mapasta hufanya. Lazima kila Sunday pastor aseme turn to your neighbor and tell them umebarikiwa. Ambia neighbor yako umebarikiwa.
Mic check.
Sawa, sawa. So right about now, I want you to help me welcome an amazing artist in the midst of us. We are here to support talent as well, yeah? That's why MCSK is in the building. Wapi makofi ya MCSK?
Mic check.
Thank you so much. So this artist, the next artist, is actually a leader in one of the schools in Kenya. So I would like us to do the Kienyeji style. Yes, I know we all Kienyeji, we agreed, but it's fine. I don't want us to do the Kienyeji style. Are we together? So we'll clap. Inaitangwa ascending ama descending? Yes, ascending 5. So we start with 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5. Are we together? So ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Nairobi, give it up for Joe Manatics!
Woo! Mic check.
Yeah. Wasani.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Ni ajeni. Mko fiti? Nikisema ni Jea unasema hapo. Ni Jea. Ni Jea. Namaanisha ni aje? Poa. Mimi naitwa John Monotics. Mimi ni student leader from KU, representing creative and performing arts, film and media. Probably najua nikikaa hivi unashangaa ni student leader aje, but you know you don't have to look like one for you to be. Ni kweli? Mimi pia ni venye tu nimesikia principal amesema ina stand for Kenya nina feel is right. Alafu unajua during campaign time tunakuanga in the mood of kusaka tu mado. It's so funny that hadi hawa wazee unaweza pata wana behave kama vijana. Alafu pia wamama wanakuanga bumper to bumper nyuma ya mtu anaitwa mheshimiwa, alafu mwishowe ni 100 tu anapata.
Hey.
DJ
1.
Uko ready?
Mic check.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Kesan at it again.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. It's jump. It's jump nights. Niko Nairobi na niko Thika, the same time simu unashika ni bashi meshika. Wengine ni bibia tuna, wengine madini dini madili, wengine tuna uamuzi muhimu buda. Ujana ni moshi minili noti so malevi roll. Mini mdosi na nina pochi so madori roll. Una worry kuna ngori ndaso minimal. Mini na mori ya kuworship daso biblical. Kufika tu kwa bashi hivi na saka msichana mrembo. Tufanya harusi kwa keja, wengine waanza kushuku ni birthday. Monday, Tuesday, leo sio Friday. Kama una form toa juu mimi lazima nipare. So kama unapenda maisha yako sema ra. Kama unapenda maisha yako sema ra. Sema ra, wewe si useme ra. Sema ra, wewe si useme ra. Mimi ndo mkali, hao mafala wengine wabambi, mimi ndo fali. Hao wengine ni pupa na bangi tei kush Z, mi sober mind. Form ni kujibamba nite bashi if you don't mind. Ni kunje na Uber ama Kalesa bado na I-Rise. Kufika tu hivi madem kibao nishaanza ku-vibe. Form inajipa hata kidogo siwezi kulala. Kana shika buda huku form ni rara. So ka unapenda maisha yako sema ra. Ka unapenda maisha yako sema ra. Oh yeah. Wewe si useme ra. Sema ra, wewe si useme ra. DJ tukipatana form ni kujibamba. Manze asanteni, this is a corporate event, so you know we are done. Naitwa Jomo naitwa Jomo Notics, unaweza kanifollow pale IG, TikTok, WhatsApp. WhatsApp simko na namba zangu, wale wase ile side, wase hii side ningetaka sana.
Let's appreciate him once more, manze. Kapenda maisha yako sema. Kapenda maisha yako sema. Manze, kwanza naona maboy chala hapa, tujipende. Sawa, tuache hii mambo ya depression. Tujipende. Jipaki mafuta uglow ai. Sawa. So right about now, just to remind you again, our sponsors for today, we have AEA, Association of Evangelicals in Africa, Domain Kenya, MCSK, Global Peace Foundation, Daystar University, Kenik, Liz Clement Beauty, again, Daystar University. So make sure
DJ. Mesema pesa ijato. Pesa onge. Anyway, mesema pesa ijatosha. Daktari, ni kama tuko na tashwishi. Umekuja na anyway.
Manze, but we hope Domains Kenya pia wako na giveaway a sound, you know. We hope so. Anyway, sawa. Angela, what do we have on the next on the program?
So next on the program we have kwanza kabla hata tuende next on the program. Unajua mtu amekaa kando yako. You know, we've actually been talking about this, but if I know your name, Pole. Kama najua jina lako. Pole. Sylvia, unajua mtu amekaa kando yako? Sylvia kidogo atoshe chini ya kiti. Leo hata amesahau yeye ni Dusa.
Manze.
Do you know the person seated next to you? Anyway, just look at your right, left, the handsome gentleman, the beautiful lady.
Lakini msidanganyane. Thank you.
Kuna wengine pere ziko intact, wamesema, unaona tu wanakuambia soma label, but just ask the person on your right, left, how they're feeling, what their name is. Hapa wanajuana wote. Daktari, who is seated on your left? You're right?
Wow, I see what you did there.
I know.
We ask him again. In 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Sasa ndio wangekuwa nasema.
Of course it's you.
The ones on your, just the left. What about behind you then? Atoe fine. Aya, nasikia suggestions. I'm listening to the suggestions. Kuna fine, alafu kuna nini ingine? Mtu kama ajui mwenzake by the time anatoka hapa tunafanya nini ingine?
Atoe fine.
Okay. Sawa. Lakini
hizo fine mimi napewa.
Fine inakuja na title.
Hizo fine nipewe.
Fine inakuja na title. Kwa hivyo kama unaitwa professor, daktari. Kuna wengine hatuzisemangi sana lakini ziko kwa majina na tunawajua.
Manze.
Yeah, but now right up we've had our amazing performer. Now we'll have a representative from Tivetsa. Ako tayari? Anaitwa Bonventure Obinda, Vice Chair Tivetsa. Makofi kwa Bonventure. Full of adventure. Wewe. You guys have to give me something for that.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Our chief guest today, Dr. Ezekiel Mutua, Executive Director, Global Peace, Mr. Daniel Juma, Dr. Reverend Eloi Dogwe from AEA, Mr. Tuva, Adams Tuva, I can see Jim from AEA, my good friend and brother, our chair NSLF, Israel Lugadiru. Far end, I can also see Marco Laboso, former DUSA chair, and Albert Maloba, UPC chair. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Bonventure Oduor Otieno. I love calling myself Bonventure Oduor Obinda. That is my grandfather's name. I love associating with my grandfather a lot. I'm really proud and delighted to join you today to mark this very important day. On behalf of TVETSA, I want to say that TVETSA in full is TVET, Technical Vocational Education Training Students Association. So that is a body that was established to champion the interests and aspirations of young comrades in all TVETs in Kenya. We have a total representation of 2 million, but our active members are 500,986. We are in 10 national polytechnics. That is the national polytechnics. We have technical vocational centers, all including youth polytechnics across the country. So We are part of the organizers of this wonderful event, and we are very proud to have you here today. I just want to, in line with our subject today, peace, Nairobi Ni Yetu, one of the things that motivated us as comrades to, especially student leaders, to come up with this event is considering that Nairobi County hosts so many institutions. Almost every institution has its origin here in Nairobi, even if there is a branch somewhere else, but we have a main in Nairobi. The other thing, all our folks, our brothers and sisters, whenever they are at home and they need a place to hustle, all of us are always headed to Nairobi. So it makes Nairobi a more populated place, and that has got its own challenges, especially right now that now we are headed to the general elections. Ladies and gentlemen, the comrades seated here today hail from various parts of Nairobi, ranging from Dandora, Kariobangi, Mathare, Embakasi. Like, comrades live everywhere, including Karen. So when we talk about peace, especially during this electioneering period, we are talking to these young people to be the next peace ambassadors, so that when somebody is spreading some incitements here and there, you can stand up and say, come on, we are going to differ in terms of ideologies, but none of us is going to fight the other. None of us is going to hit, or none of us is going to insult the other. So that is the message we are having today. And I really want to appreciate one thing. All of us today here are gathered in a very marvelous and wonderful university, Daystar University. It tells us one thing. We are all learned. I always use a very simple example, logic. When you're given mathematics, you're given exams, you're told to solve 2x plus x, period, is a problem. So when we were in high school, you are told, write a solution. So you start with step 1, step 2, step 3, until you get the solution, right? At no point will you fight mathematics. But at the end of the day, you need to get the solution, right? So I believe that no matter the idea or the opinion I have, we can sit down and argue, even if it is 1 hour. Let us argue over it. Let us argue over it. But at the end of the day, let us see which idea is the best. And at the end of the day, all of us are here and we learn. We know that there is always, at the end of the day, an idea must, we must reach some consensus. And you see, why do you say, choose this stuff over this stuff? And we ponder over it and we get a solution. So going into this election, we have our folks out there who are aligned politically when you walk across the streets. But I just want to say this. When you meet them discussing, arguing, and somebody speaking maybe hate speech, maybe, for instance, I come from Nyanza, and somebody says the people of Nyanza are going to, they're very violent. And you're there, like, for instance, somebody says, Bonventure, Luos are violent. Okay, I know maybe Luos are violent, but I'm here as Bonventure. No, Bonventure is not violent. So address me as Bonventure so that I tell you the history of Luos. I tell you why somebody would choose to fight. I tell you why somebody has that passion to fight for something. Then if we are able to convince each other and have reach a consensus, then trust you me, you can convince a second person and a third person in that order. And at the end of the day, we are going to ensure that Nairobi County is going to be very peaceful. We are going to have a very peaceful election, and no business is going to close, because if businesses close, all of us are going to be affected. All of us are going to be affected. If you are an employer or you are a comrade today and you are attached somewhere or you are in town somewhere and your boss has to close the organization because there is no peace in the country, it's going to cost you in one way or the other. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're saying, go out there and become a peace ambassador. Go out there and give the alternative voice of reason. I'm looking forward to engaging you more, but I want to conclude by saying in 2007, many of us, including myself, we were toddlers. We were young by then. We didn't experience some of the things that maybe Daktari could have experienced that time. They were in the forefront. We were running and hiding. Now, we can't run anymore. We must face it. But one thing we must agree, ladies and gentlemen, we are not going back to the dark moments of our country. We are not going back there. When you look at 2007, the whole country was engulfed in smoke and tears and wails and blood. Holding a machete and cutting your fellow folk. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we are better than that. And we must preach that to our folks back to our estates where we hail from. And as we leave, let us know that we serve one country, one flag, one Kenya, and we are all Kenyans. Thank you very much, and may the living God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Bonventure. That is a very interesting name. I wonder what your folks woke up that day feeling.
Adventurers.
Oh,
Adventurers.
We. Anyway, as I was seated, I was just thinking the way, back in the day, in the olden days, probably I wouldn't say our elderly, but I would say our young at heart can actually attest to this, in that kitambo, vijana hawako wanapewa nafasi ya kusimama hapa mbele. Kuongea vitu kama hivi. That's true. Like, in the olden days, I mean, your folks will be like, sasa wewe, unajua nini, unaniambia nini. But I'd like to appreciate each and every one of us, especially our leaders, who've given us the platform. Na kwa hayo machache, I'd like to, naona pale social media, we are doing good. I can see Risi from rec_CFC anasema, this is a great conversation happening now. I may retweet tweet here, Dr. Ezekiel Mutua MBS. Let me tell you that MBS at the end of a name is very important. It can cost you a job. So there's also, hey, bwana Daktari, watu wanakupenda hii Twitter. Everyone is just retweeting you. Then we have Son of Salifate anasema, we need peace among our youth. This is why we advocate for the Amani Ni Jukumu Langu. We have OJ who's saying we should always strive to live in peace and harmony, shouldn't we? So our next guest is also a leader at TVETSA. Naona ana consult pale na kiongozi mwenzake. Pia yeye anakuja kama TVETSA na NSLF. NSLF kwa watu hawajui, nani anaweza nisaidia inamaanisha nini? What does NSLF mean? Anyone? Kuna watu ni viongozi huko lazima wajue hapa mbele. Anyone maybe from the back? Anyone who has an idea what NSLF is? Randomly. Yes, Collins, Brighton. That's another French one. Reverend. Unazisikia? Yeah, we are blessed. Yes, Collins? Yes, NSLF is Nairobi Student Leaders Forum. We have Samson Bravo, who is the secretary. Wow, that's French. That's also French. Sorry, I'm not Kenyan. I just landed, Mama, I am a Mwangi, a full one. But anyway, we have Samson Bravo, who's at TVETSA Secretary General, and also a secretariat at NSLF. Karibu sana. Makofi kwake tafadhali.
Thank you very much, Angie. Good morning. Ama haijafika afternoon, si ndio? It's okay. God is good, and all the time. So, my name is Samson Bravo. I'm the current National Secretary General of all the TVETs in the nation. What we call in Latin, the Vox Populi Vox Dei, to mean the voice of the people is the voice of God. And I also equal in as the current Secretariat member of the Nairobi Student Leaders Forum. So because of time, I won't really repeat the introductions of our guests, but I want to recognize the presence of Daktari. Daktari has been a mentor and a father to us comrades, and I'm sure all the student leaders are conversant with that. So Daktari, we appreciate your presence. And I won't repeat the speech about TVETs because Bonventure Obinda has mentioned about TVETs. So I want to speak about the Nairobi Student Leaders Forum, who are actually the champions also of this event today. The Nairobi Student Leaders Forum is a forum of all the student leaders within Nairobi. That is the colleges, TVETs, universities, TVCs. In Nairobi Student Leaders Forum, we are guided by 3 pillars. That is student welfare. Number 2 is economic empowerment. And number 3 is SDGs and climate. SDGs, climate, and peace actions. Those are our 3 pillars. And Daktari, we have achieved much, considering we are actually almost celebrating our anniversary since our formation. We are ready, we are proud to announce that over 18 students from within Nairobi have actually gotten the chance to travel abroad, to learn and engage with the world outside in terms of exposing them through innovations. And this is in regards to our key partner, who is the Kenya National Chambers of Commerce and Industry. And today, with the presence of Daktari, I'm sure the MCSK is also going to be a great partner and colleague to our Student Leaders Forum. Ama namna gani? Yes, our other pillar is student welfare, and student welfare brings in a lot of things. Students are actually not the leaders of tomorrow. These are the leaders of today. We, the youth, are the leaders of today. Today, we are in an election that the theme is coined upon economic revolution. We are the pivotal point in the economic liberation. And this, for us to achieve economic liberation, and this story about economic revolution is interesting because what our politicians tells us is that in 1963, 50 years ago, Kenya and Singapore were at the same level economically. And today, we are actually 2 different countries, but they don't really tell us why. In Singapore, we had a great leader known as Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew was the first prime minister of Singapore. He is actually the person who, through his policies and coined and pivoted around the youth, made the turnaround in the economy in Singapore. That is why, as Nairobi Student Leaders Forum, we are really interested in empowering our youths economically. Today, the nation has a population where 75% are the youth, and only less than 20% get absorbed in employment. Where is the other 50+%? They are nowhere. And that is why we want to empower our students economically. Today, we are bringing in together economic empowerment towards achieving peace. Another big welfare challenge to our students, and this is by the research and surveys done, is that the most common disease in students is H. pylori, because students barely afford a meal a day. And this is very sad because today we speak about an economy where a bag of unga is 200 shillings. Yet comrades receive only around 300 shillings weekly from their parents. So with me, Samson Bravo, here in Nairobi, it affects me knowing that there is another comrade at the far end of Western with 300 shillings with a hard decision to make on whether to buy drugs or to buy unga. And that is why we are in this race to change that narrative. Today, I won't really speak much because I'm very passionate about the youth and youth leadership. And for the essence of time, I just want to urge each and every one of you that as we approach 30 days to elections, we are the biggest decisive factor in these elections. and we must take part in the formation of governance, because we are the youth. We are the people who will get affected. And as we do that, we must, not really should, we must be the ones to also champion peace during this period. We are also the ones who must ensure that our climate is in tandem with our needs through observing the 17 SDGs as laid down by the UN. So fellow brethren and sistren, I welcome you all to this Peace Pact today. Let us become peace ambassadors, and I'll just leave you with the United States motto that says, E pluribus unum, a Latin word that means out of all, we are one. One people, one country. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Samson. Where? Okay. If I was in another world, I would say, hey, umesoma, umesoma. But that's what we call research. In our books, in my books, that is what I call research. You just don't stand in front of people and mumble and rumble. Yes? Yes. So, hope you're enjoying, Hey, let me tell you, if there are people who are enjoying, Hero Hapa, oh, they're even giving me hope. They're making me feel, hey, you're making sense, a lot of sense. I don't know if they're laughing at me or with me. I'm yet to know. Okay, so right up next is my very, I don't know, I'll call him my work husband because we are working together currently. Kama mtu wake ako hapa, let me be safe. Yes, but right up next is my co-MC. He is a talented poet. Inaitwa kubarikiwa sekta nyingi. Moja ikikosa kuwork out, you have a backup plan. Let's give it up for none other than Joel the poet.
Thank you, thank you. You're very safe, mtu wangu hayuko. Okay, mtu mgani? Okay, sawa. Hata labda hakuna mtu, unajua niko live, nisichome. Anyway, hi guys. My name is Joel and as poet. Sorry, I'm a let me use this. I am a spoken word artist from Daystar University. So I want to teach you something, yeah? In poetry, when a point imegonga, imeingia site, you snap. We can snap? Let's snap? Yes, so that's what's up. So I want to do a piece called Peace. And yes, wacha nisianze kupeana background. I'll give the background later. So turn to your neighbor and tell them peace. Okay, turn to your other neighbor on the other side and tell them peace. You see, the last time we met, I remember ilikuwa Gikomba. Kukuuliza mbona huko job ukaniambia ni off umeomba. But bro, I knew you since class 7. I couldn't help but notice that your odds were not even. Mbona mdosi anichuja at my prime? I remember you asking me that question. And I swear it tasted sour because it wasn't getting any limelight. I remember vile you narrated how coincidentally on that day you had matching shirts with your boss, but still akakuchuja on allegations without verifying the source. I wanted you guys didn't have the same jeans and ties. You narrated vile alisema ni juu umetoka north na ametoka south. Okay, sijai get mbona north na south ziambia na pole, but anytime I get to either North Pole or South Pole, I'll ask. But things went south for her as well. I remember the last we talked, she had just moved out of her parents' house. Apparently, she was beginning to gain the pace. But as the pan fried the eggs and the cockroach begs for that leftover in her bedsitter that barely had nothing, spare a few plates and a guitar, okay, she was passionate about music, but quite frankly, financially, she was the one facing the music. So when things didn't pay off, she opted to work in a butchery, and at least there was a kusukuma wiki. And then On this day, as she was walking to work with her degree papers in her bag and a CV in a lot of sent but not replied to emails. Wait, I know you relate. Her smiles were always the veils to this agony that could not be sorted even by his boyfriend John. Anytime she would be like, hey John, most of the times he would be like, sinner. Well, I would like to describe John as a champion. Well, not like John Cena, but like one who, even though he was struggling, he tried his best to be there for her. I am rooting for such men. And then on that day, as she was walking, she heard some noises and she looked back. And I'm pretty sure she must envy Lot's wife who, upon turning back, only turned to a lot of salt because for her, she turned to Goliath. Wait, I hope when we get to heaven, the only stoned people will be her and Stephen Mwachebangi. She isn't one of us, must be the last thing she remembers she had. And as if that wasn't enough, they used tires. I am sick and tired. But for him, why? He had just retired. A lot of good years in service, all thrown into the abyss. Well, his favorite grandchild was called Abby. They had a lot of good memories together. I would describe their conversations as a derby. They were all strong-willed. But what did all this yield to? What did all this yield to? On this day when you see, in his latter years, he got ill. And so Abby took him in so that she would take care of him. She recalls how the little ones would be singing hymns for him and how when they were told to make kites, he would be the one helping them out. Nijuzi tu CBC. And on this day, well, he was walking and went to his favorite joint where he used to go and catch up with his fellow men. And as he was biting his mandazi once and sipping his tea twice because he believed in once bitten, twice shy, he was of a contrary opinion on whom he was going to vote for. And believe you not, they followed him and put him ablaze. I didn't know that conversation was that heated. You see, that could be you, that could be me, that could be your son, that could be your daughter, that could be the person seated next to you. Anytime elections are approaching, for our minds politicians are poaching, we don't put their manifestos to task. Wait, our visions get blurry, but I know why. It is the dust. Dust from the huge crowd following him to get 100. For sure, they are manifestos. 100 bob that will make you turn against that person who lended you 1,000 bob last week. Make it make sense. 100 bob that will make you turn against that person who gave you an onion when you forgot to buy one as you were coming upstairs. Turn against that person who, on Saturday, you hung your clothes on his hanging line. Hang on there. Against that person who, when they cooked more than enough, they knocked at your door to give you a plate. Well, I know it's a plastic plate, but is that 100 bob a silver plate? I stand here to preach and teach peace. Luckily enough, in this school, you don't need no fees. In a battlefield that only exists in our head, there only needs an ounce of peace. And I pray that for once, you and I will be that ounce of peace. And that is the end of my peace. Peace out, Joel_poet.
Let me, like today I'm just, as I do this job, I'm also, now wavuruta ndio mkue MCs. In this job you have to keep on consulting because you're also on a contract. Labda unaambiwa, unachoma, sasa tutafanya hivi. But anyway, we're good. I'm seeing the conversation rolling, nini. Now I have this package, Yeah, probably guys thought I was lying. But let me tell you, this is a whole bag. Chani chungulia ni nini. They are goodies. So, who is my 20th follower on Twitter? Tumefika Twitter wapi? Aya, tukiangalia. Who can tell me what Buy Domain Kenya is all about? Buy Domain Kenya? Anyone? Surely. Ini generation ya Google. Ningekuwa nilinua mkono kitambo bwana. Who can tell me what Buy Domain Kenya is all about? Okay, let me simplify it for you. Who can tell me what domains are all about? Let's start from there, basics. I'm waiting. Who can tell me what domains? Hata tumeachana na by domain kwanza. Domains. He, Professor Bowen. Watu wanatumia hizi vitu na wajui ni nini. Professor Bowen amejitoa kwa shida. Amesema, "Oi, mimi generation hizi jui. Mimi ni WhatsApp tunajua." Who can tell me what a domain is? You don't even have to give a sentence. 5. Simple. Please, just come. Imagine he's just walked in right now, and that's how anawanyorosha. Here is your package. Sijui kama kuna Bwana Adam, please do us the honor as the main man of this company. A round of applause for the gentleman. What's your name, please? Leshan. Yes, that is how Leshan goes away with a package from By Domain Kenya. A round of applause for Leshan. Yani, it was as simple as just looking at this. .ke. That is a domain. .ke is a domain. Are we together? You've learned something new today? Clap for me. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hizo ndio advantages za kufanya kazi kwa domain company. Thank you, Bwana Adam, for the opportunity. So next up, I think now I will invite, first of all, before I invite, I'd like to recognize Nairobi County Government. I don't know if there's a representative from Nairobi County Government. Okay, probably they've walked out. Yes. Yes? Oh, yes. There is the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. Maybe they can just stand up, maybe say hi. Anyone from NCIC? Oh, wow. Such a big brand with young people. Ain't we going far? So right up, I would like to invite my boss. Yes, he's my boss. My boss, the main man, the brains, among the brains behind this amazing project. Please, makofi ikuwe generous, ndio nisikatwe mshahara, tafadhali, niambiwe nisikwe. Najua hii maisha, nilikuwa naambia Joel, maisha ni magumu, masaa ni machache. Yeah, so, yes, I'd like to introduce none other than, who's also a Daystarian, by the way. Like, that's also a big thing, yeah? Daystar University is producing such amazing brains, including myself, thank you. But yeah, so I'd like to, naona kidogo wana consult. Aya, wamesema kila kitu iko sawa, check inaingia right after this. So none other than Bwana Israel Lugadiru. Please, round of applause for him.
Hao ma-MC walipwe wasilipwe. Wapatiwe kakitu ama tuwakate. One more time, a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Angela Mwangi and also MC_Joel the Poet. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate them. Asanteni sana. How are you guys feeling? Are you guys feeling good? Are you guys okay? Turn to your neighbor, give them a high five. Tell them amani ni jukumu langu. Turn to the other one, give them a high five. Tell them amani ni jukumu langu. And as you do that, smile tafadhali. You can even tell your neighbor you look nice. Ambia jirani yako anakaa vizuri. Hata kama ni uongo, encourage them. Encourage them. It's important. It's important. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for showing up today right here at Daystar University, the university with a difference and also the best university in Kenya. Ama namna gani Daystarians? Watu wa shule ingine wamekataa. Kweli uongo? Anyway, karibuni sana hapa Daystar University for the Kenya Ni Yetu, for the Nairobi Ni Yetu Peace Campaign. Pole, have already gone national, and it's lovely to have each and every one of you guys over here. So please appreciate yourselves for coming. Chipigeni makofi tafadhali. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So just to touch a little bit and also to do some small introduction of myself, my name is Israel Lugadiru. My name is Israel Ogadiru, and I am the chairperson of the Nairobi Student Leaders Forum, and it's indeed quite much of an honor to be here, to stand here, and also to do this campaign with each and every one of you. I would tell you one thing for sure is that it would never have been possible without your help. So just for each and every one of you to understand the background as to why we are doing this campaign, is because the youthful population are one of the most misused population. My youth kweli uongo. And in that section of the population, there's again one that's even more misused, and that's the student population. And when I talk about the student population, I'm talking about sisi ndo hatulipuangi tukienda internship. Sindio? Kweli uongo? Sisi ndo pocket money zetu haziongezekangi in relation to the inflation of the country. Kweli uongo? And we are the ones who are usually most misused even by people of malicious intent to go ahead and do crazy things for them outside there. That's the reason as to why today we decided to come up with the Nairobi Ni Yetu Peace campaign, a campaign that will focus specifically on this segment of the youthful population, because we understand that once we continue to spread the message of peace, then we shall ensure that we change the country as a whole and also impact and affect the youthful population. Sawa, ladies and gentlemen? Sawa, ladies and gentlemen? All right, so for now, without further ado, we were supposed to be having a panel discussion, and it was supposed to go on for 30 minutes, but then we're going to do it for 20 minutes for us to give the opportunity to our chief guest for him to give us his address, and then later we're going to be doing other things. So the program has changed a little bit. So I'd just like to have my guys organize this particular place, because this panel is going to happen, and this panel is actually going to be amazing. And if you can look at the program, for those of you who have accessed it probably in our email, that panel is divided across different scopes when it comes to the topic of peace. So ladies and gentlemen, our first panelist is going to be none other than Reverend Wilson Omido, who is the District Peace Ambassador for Kamkunji. Mr. Wilson Omido, tafadhali, please stand up. Watu wakujue, wakurecognize, salimiana. Reverend Wilson Omido has been very instrumental in terms of preaching the gospel of peace in slum settings, because that is where he is ministering the gospel to those people over there, and has also seen the direct impact of political violence, especially in settlements such as those. So one more time, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Reverend Wilson. The second person, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Tuva Adams Tuva. He's a gentleman from Adams Group, and he's also the gentleman in charge of .ke, all right? Yeye ndo ametupatia hizi packages zote. So Mr. Adams Tuva is an industrial leader, and he understands the economic systems and also the economic implications of elections, and he's also going to be sharing a little bit about how businesses can maneuver during such times as this one. So a round of applause for Mr. Adams Tuva Adams. Ladies and gentlemen, I also have another panelist. This gentleman deserves no introduction. In fact, in 2011, I think I was still in class 5 or something. I don't even remember. Class 8, yeah, I think. We used to sing his songs, yeah? Na nakumbuka ngoma yake. I don't know whether you guys can sing it with me. Ilikuwa inaenda hivi. Namba 8 wapi? Namba 8 on? Octopizo wapi? Octopizo on? Get that? Buy that? I say get that? Buy that ndula. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about none other than the peace ambassador himself, Octopizo. Octopizo wapi makofi yake, ladies and gentlemen? All the way from the Global Peace Foundation, the gentleman who has been practicing and preaching peace. And this man has a unique story, because he used to be a politician back in the days, but then he decided to change his trajectory, and he's now spreading the gospel of peace. I don't know whether you'll stay in the gospel of peace ama 2022 tatuambia unasimama na chama gani. Tufanye ile maneno ama namna gani, ladies and gentlemen? I'm talking about Mr. Daniel Juma. Sante sana, ladies and gentlemen. So for now, we could just appreciate all our panelists as they come to occupy the seats over here. Makofi kwao, ladies and gentlemen. Please come. Please come. And also just to inform each and every one of you is that we have AEA in the building, the African Evangelical Association. Wapi makofi yao, ladies and gentlemen. You know, one of the most unique things about this particular sector of, or rather this particular organization, is that for them, When we talk about one religion, is that for them, in as much as they preach the gospel and in as much as they are Christians, they have come together to preach peace in the scope of different religions. So what they do is that they get Muslims, they get Christians, they get people of different religions, they come together, they shake hands, because by the end of the day we have to understand that there is something about coexisting together. Ama namna gani, ladies and gentlemen? One more time, a round of applause for the African Evangelical Association. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Aren't my panelists looking amazing? Wanakaa vizuri? Wanakaa vizuri? All right, and we also have another panelist who has just gotten and has just joined us, ladies and gentlemen. He's our chief guest. When I see this man, I clean my content. Wacha nikuambie. Si nimerevise kabla niongea hapa daktari. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our chief guest, Dr. Ezekiel Mutua, MBS. All right. So I'd just like to know, the microphones? Okay, so the media team wananiambia that probably if you could just occupy the seats because hamko katikati. Probably you guys could help me also move this podium. And as I move this podium, I've got some amazing merchandise right here. T-shirt. Akunanga kitu polarizing kama t-shirt kwa campus events na political events. For those of you who've done wangapi hapa mshaichapa siasa? Semeni tu ukweli. Lazima tutafute, eh? Wangapi hapa, you know, one of the toughest, whatever works out, one of the toughest jobs that you can ever be given when you're doing politics is to distribute merchandise. So ladies and gentlemen, today over here, I'm also tasked with that very difficult task. But I'd like to give this merchandise to somebody over here. Sijui niwapatie ama nisiwapatie. You have something? All right, so I'm just being told that Mr. Octopizo is in traffic. He's going to be here in 10 minutes. Wasani. But anakuja, si kuwadanganya. Wasani, si kuwadanganya. Si tulisema tunaleta Tuva Adams Tuva. Tumeleta hatujaleta. Si tulisema tunaleta Reverend Wilson. Tumeleta hatujaleta. Chaniruke. Nilisema tunaleta Daniel Juma. Tumeleta hatujaleta. Sasa pia tukasema tutaleta Asante. Sasa sinipewe tano tena. Asante sana, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Okay, I'll just take my exercise book right here. Oh, there's so many books up here. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Also, one more thing that I'd like to remind each and every one of you is that this event is being live streamed at the Daystar University live channel. And so many people are joining, and I can see on Twitter we are trending at number 9. Wapi makofi, ladies and gentlemen. So keep tweeting, keep talking, keep chatting. Please, somebody can confirm it. Nimetumiwa screenshot to say. Keep tweeting, keep talking, keep chatting. Make sure you tag Dr. Ezekiel Mutua. Make sure you tag Daystar University. Make sure you tag the Nairobi Student Leaders Forum. And we will definitely read your tweets right here. And who knows, one of the best tweets tunaweza wapatia t-shirt. Ama namna gani, Angela? All right. So at Wango Sound, I don't know whether my guests are well mic'd over here. Oh yes. All right, I don't know whether we're going to be adding more. Don't worry, all those microphones are very well sanitized. We're very COVID-friendly, ladies and gentlemen, so please do not get on Twitter and start telling us some things. Oh, Israel, your event, So ladies and gentlemen, one more time, a round of applause for my panelists right here. So the conversation today is just about peace building. It's going to definitely cut across the religious conversation of peace. It's also going to cut across the economic conversation of peace. And not just the economic conversation of peace, but also the creative sector of peace. And then we're going to cover the national situation of peace. So ladies and gentlemen, what I'm talking about is that we're going to cover the wholesome conversation of peace at all angles, irrespective of the channel that we are going to be using. So probably just the first question. Are you guys planning to vote in this election? Ama nyinyi mlisema, okay, yes. You're good to go? Is it maybe after the introduction of Wajakoya into the race? Ni jukumu letu, ni jukumu lenu kupiga kura. All right. So maybe you guys can just tell us a bit. Where were you in 2007, 2008 during the post-election violence? Reverend, probably we could start with you.
I was in Nairobi, and I was one of the election observers. I was situated just around the Buruburu area, next to the slum where we pastor in Kiambu.
Yeah.
And that is where we were.
That is where you are?
Yes.
What about you, Adams, Tuva Adams?
I was actually at the coast when
Alright.
this happened. And to be honest, I was actually in an area where it was really hit and we had to move. So yeah, I really felt the impact.
Were you in business at that particular time, or you hadn't yet?
No. I wasn't in business just yet.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Shule? Or something?
Let's say
that. So, MBS.
Close enough.
Close enough. MBS ulikuwa wapi?
I was in the thick of things.
Yes.
Literally. 2007,
Yes.
I was appointed Director of Information and Public Communications.
Yeah.
And by dint of that appointment, I ended up becoming a member of the UN Secretary General's Committee on Information, based in New York, and also Vice Chairman of UNESCO's Committee on Information and Communication in Paris.
Wow.
So I was here, I was in Paris, I was in New York. But I was holding a very critical position as Director of Information and Public Communications. So when reports of skirmishes started getting to the country, I was actually the one, because I was in charge of Kenya News Agency, the Department of Information, all the PROs in the ministry and across the country. And so I was the one now managing that information. Wow. All the way, if you remember, even when the mediators came and we were at Serena, when they needed someone who was neutral, who was just a professional, neither tied to the combatants, whether PNU or DM, I had the privilege of being appointed to be the one to fly with Kofi Annan, Gracia Machel, and the late Benjamin Mkapa to the hotspots in Cherangani, in Bant area, and so on. And I was actually at some point, we got to the ground, and I took upon myself to translate for Kofi Annan, the late Kofi Annan, because I realized the crowds were tense, people had been raped, and a lot of injustices had been committed. Yeah. And in my translation, I remember I really impressed Kofi Annan because I just decided to make the crowds happy. You know, the mediators were speaking in English, save for Benjamin Mkapa and young Benjamin Mkapa. So I translated, and the idea was just to bring in some happiness. And Kofi really liked that, and it ended up making us friends until his death. So I was quite in the thick of things as Director of Information and Public Communications.
Umesikia hiyo CV? When I grow up. So Mr. Daniel Juma, were you in politics at that particular time, or you had started spreading the message of peace?
Thank you. In 2007, I was not yet into politics. I was actually working for the Korean government in Kenya. I was in charge of trade and investment promotion at the Korean Investment and Promotion Agency. My office was in International Lifehouse. And I remember when the skirmishes were happening, I was in my office looking down to youths singing, "No Raila, no peace. No Raila, no peace." You know, it was really chaotic at that time. Then when I discussed it with my colleagues, I was, say, look, we are here because, why are we not in the streets singing? Because we have something to do. Yeah. We are busy doing something. So all the people who are in offices, working, all young people who are in businesses, were not out there being mobilized to cause chaos, because at least they were doing something. And this brings us to the reason why we have political violence. Is because every year we have almost 1 million young people leaving the school system into a marketplace of jobs that is already saturated. Yes. So when these young people are basically idle, they become available for misuse. They become available for political mobilization. They become available for recruitment into extremism. And that's one of the reasons why we at the Global Peace Foundation, we are looking at how do you empower young people, get them into jobs, get them into business, so that when the elections come, they do not sing like I was seeing them in 2007, singing no, you know, it is really crazy that every 5 years, you know, we have to go through this cycle of being afraid that elections are coming. It's like some typhoon is coming. It should not be like that. You know, and that's one of the reasons why I'm passionate about peace building, is that we need to normalize elections so that elections happen like in Finland. In the morning, people vote. In the afternoon, they're back to work. They don't care who is president. And that is one of the reasons why I think this conversation is very, very important today. Because our young people need to know their responsibility. Wajibu wangu, kama mimi, ni mpiga kura, wajibu wangu tu ni kupiga kura na kuenda kungoja matokeo. Mwanasiasa ni kuomba kura kwa upole. Ask for peace, ask for votes peacefully. And the wajibu wa IEBC ni ku organize elections and count the votes and mathematically tell us who has got the highest votes. For sure. So whether it is Wajakoya, whether it is Raila Odinga, whether it is David Maure, whether it is the Hustler, it doesn't matter. See how what in Kenya. That is the message we will be we are preaching, and I hope we will be preaching today, and we will keep on preaching until today is 35 days to the elections.
Yes.
Until Kenyans get into their heads. Kila mtu afanye kazi yake, wewe piga kura, ngoja matokeo. Wacha IBC wahesabu kura. Wewe kama if you didn't run for president, no need to go and cause chaos. Kama unataka cause chaos, go and run for president. Why didn't you go and run? See, Ada Wajakoya is on the ballot.
For sure. For sure. So, Mr. Adams Tuva mentioned something, and you said that you literally had to relocate to a different place because of the violence that you experienced, yeah?
Correct.
I'd just like Mr. Reverend Wilson, because you've been at the heart of things in Kiambu slum, an informal settlement that was one of the most affected when it came to the 2007-2008. In just very few words, would you explain to us the impact and also the mental trauma that people underwent through because of the post-election violence?
Thank you so much for that question. We are in the center of the slum that was heavily affected, and one of the things that happened was it was really tribal, because one single tribe lived on one side and then the other on the other side. And when the elections, you know, the way they went, the one group took stones, you know, they cut the electricity wires and attached it to a big blanket, and a number of men, about 30 men, filled it with stones and then pulled it. And the stones ran like rockets to the other slum.
Watu wangu wa 844 fair.
And that then just started, you know, the other people on the other side realized they were being fought, so they started fighting. And the impact of it is that slums are slightly different from most of the other places, because one, the people who live there are slightly below the normal poverty level. And you find that their perception of the other people is that they are the ones who have taken their dough.
Yeah.
And therefore, sometimes there is also a manipulation by politicians, you know, to use that position to use them wrongly.
Yes.
Because they are easily incited.
Yeah.
And once they get something to eat, then they'll fight for anything.
For sure.
So one of the impact is that the people in the slum are scared of the reoccurrence of
the violence again.
The chaos
All right.
again.
All right. So sorry to cut you short, because today, Mr. Daniel Juma, there are different international countries that have issued high alerts when some of their citizens are coming to Kenya. And part of the reasons is terrorism, of course, and another reason is because of the proximity of the elections. Today, what's the current state of peace in the country?
Okay, so Kenya is basically a peaceful nation. We have been, during the Nyayo era, they said Kenya is an island of peace in turbulent regional waters. So we are basically a peaceful nation. You know, we only get problems when we are approaching, the era of politics. And so I'm one of those guys I'm very optimistic, even though, of course, we have been in collaboration with the NCIC. They released a report showing that our country is, the proximity to violence is very, very high. I think more than 50. There was a report that was released other day. Yeah. But we are a peaceful nation. We don't fight one another. Until elections. 2007, by the way, was when we had this problem. So right now, I can tell you, Kenyans are living, in peace with one another. Yeah. They are not inciting one another. The only people who are responsible for inciting Kenyans are the politicians. Yes. And they're using that just for the sake of mobilization, political mobilization. Some of the politicians think if you are violent, and someone told me that to be a politician, when I ran in 2019, that was the first time I ran as member of parliament in Uganda, I was being told, why are you going into politics? Hii kazi utawezana nayo kweli? Wewe ni mtu mpole sana. Because I was being told, Ezekiel, that for you to be a successful politician in Kenya, you must have a proclivity for barbarism. Yeah. That means that you must be able to put some pangas in your boot. In your boot. You get my point?
For sure.
So most politicians use this for mobilization. For example, when I went to my first political rally in the village, I had not what we call in Kijaluo treating the ground, treating the field. Those who know. So I did not do that. Yeah. So when I was speaking, my opponent had already treated the ground. So when I was speaking, people were making noise and were telling me, that way, or something like that. Huh? They were booing me. But when he was speaking, guys were really praising him. So I was told these things are done in advance. You give money to the border so that they receive you, they have word, and so when you're talking, even if you're talking nonsense, they will clap at you, clap for you. So this is what happened. So in short, to answer your question is, Kenyans are peaceful, and I can tell you that I am very optimistic, and I said this during a launch of Kenya Daima Peace Campaign, which I sit on the steering committee, that these elections will come, and they will be peaceful, and this is what we are encouraging everyone. They will come, and they'll be peaceful, and we will elect our president, we will elect our governors, our senators, and our MPs, and whoever, and this is one of the reasons why the civic education we are doing is very, very critical. Yes. We are saying, if you are a candidate in an election, you must be prepared. It's like elections is like athletics. Yes. Or it's like betting. So you should be ready to prepare. You should be prepared to win or to lose.
Win or to lose.
So we are saying have two speeches.
Yeah.
One, have your victory speech, so that when you win, you read your victory speech. And then you embrace the loser. But in the event, or in the unlikely event, if you like to say, that you don't win.
Is that really a possibility with Kenyan politicians?
That's what I'm saying, but they have to be taught.
It's a possibility, if I may chip in.
Yes.
Yeah.
In 2002, I was a senior consultant for President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
He was a presidential candidate then.
Yes,
and myself, there was a former PS called Matu Njoroge, Wamatu Joroge, Joseph Kagude and others, and Dr. Joroge Mungai, we put up a team that was helping the presidential candidate Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
At that time, he had just risen to that level. If you remember, the politics were quite different because former President Moi just proposed him.
Yes.
And the rest of the Kanu brigade went against the former president. And I remember as a consultant, when it looked like we were losing, and all indications were that President Mwai Kibaki was going to win and become the third president of the Republic of Kenya, we had to close the door and make a hard decision as consultants. Some of these decisions that you see, even to fight, they are decisions that are made by people in the boardrooms for tribal reasons, for money reasons. We sat in that boardroom, and there were people. There's another group that came. As we decided to do what he said, make a concession speech for our candidate. It was unheard of.
Wow.
But thank God, President Moi loved peace. The first person who wanted to test, will Mzee agree with this narrative, was the president himself. And the president went against the grain and said, it is obvious, Wakenya wamesema, this is what I wanted, but they have gone against me, and the right thing to do is to hand over. There were a lot of people and other speeches who and other plans. But I remember the late Mutula Kilonzo, Joseph Kagude, and I saying that our speech will stand.
You know, you guys are bringing...
And President Kenyatta now, then our candidate who had lost, agreeing to it, and he read that speech. If any of you can Google that speech. It was so genuine. We packaged him. We told him, don't just read. Don't just concede. Concede like you love your country. Do it with passion. Be a gentleman. And if you remember that speech, if you can Google it, it's amazing. He read it with his whole heart and put the country ahead. It's possible for the presidential candidates, all of them, to have two speeches. And that's the right thing. And everybody packaging them, this is what I'm advising them, because I'm in touch with most of them. I have had the privilege of sitting with most of these presidential candidates. In fact, tomorrow I have an invitation to the UDA town hall through KTN. And I hope this message can also pass. But including Wanjakoya, I had the privilege of treating Wanjakoya for dinner. And I looked out for him because I sat in a meeting with the youth, and they were all saying, we are voting Wanjakoya. And I got fascinated. So I asked them why. They talked about the snakes and the bangi. And I asked them, you don't see the dangers? And they said, no, it's not for smoking. And the images of even tankers going through Mombasa Road, written, danger, snake venom. And they're all going to sell poison, and we are paying the China debt and so on. And I called him out, and I told him, I have a very interesting group of young people here. And I think it's important that you tell us where you stand with this bank thing. Because they seem carried away. So I was very privileged that he came. Actually arrived on time. And we asked him the questions, and he answered. And he said he's not promoting bank for smoking. Of course, I know it's a controversial issue, but we have a right, we owe it to our country to listen to everybody, give them a chance, and make a decision. So it's possible to love our country, put it forward, and have the concession speech. Because when you're going to an election, there are two choices. You win
or you lose.
You can also lose. Don't go there believing that you must win. At the back of your mind, if you love this country, just have it at the back of your mind that losing is a possibility, and whoever wins is also a Kenyan and should be respected.
So you guys are actually...
Let me just repeat. Asiyekubali kushindwa
si mshindani.
So if President Uhuru could concede defeat in 202, who are you not to concede defeat?
Absolutely.
Who are you to tell our youths? The youths, we vote for you. Young people vote for you. Yani tumefanya wajibu wetu, tumekupigia kura. Alafu sasa tena sisi tuende tulinde kura. Na hiyo kura, kazi ya kulinda hiyo kura, every election, every presidential candidate, every candidate has an agent in the polling booth who will protect your vote. So when you're telling young people from wherever, upige kura na ukae hapo, usitoke mpaka mimi nitangazwe mshindi. Kwani wewe nani amekuambia wewe ndio lazima ushinde? Si hata huyo pia akona watu wake.
But Daniel
so
Juma,
this is the issue, that the cause of election violence is,
yes,
the problem is politicians refusing to
concede.
play by the rules.
Okay, just to cut you short, because I'd like to add something on that. And because this is bringing up a very important conversation on the hate speech issue, and also how polarizing politicians usually use hate speech to ensure that they propagate malicious messages that polarize the young people and the youthful people. But before I get into that, because I'd also like to understand the role of the church in terms of giving these politicians podiums to spread hate speech and stuff like that, just before I get into that, I'd like to also understand the economic impacts of the elections and also how they affect our day-to-day running of business. Mr. Tuva Adams Tuva, you're a corporate leader, yeah? Yeah. So how is the business scenario today, especially as we are getting closer to the forthcoming general elections?
To be honest, it's affecting everything, because you realize everyone gets very jittery around this time.
Yeah.
I was listening to the chairman for the NSC. He was on KTN the other day, and he said, okay, most of the things will not move till that particular period is done. So you realize that consciously or subconsciously, most of the business will slow down. Will slow down, even investors will be a bit slow to come in. Most of them will be like, okay, fine, let's wait and see what happens. And if we continue with this, theme, with this momentum, that, we must wait for election every 5 years for us to be able to move forward, the economy will not grow. Realize there will always be gaps in between. So my thoughts and reasoning around this is, whatever we're doing here is it's a good first step. All right, let's have a peaceful election. Allow people to just continue the same way Mheshimiwa here was saying, that people in other countries can go for elections in the morning and go back to work in the evening. Yeah. Yeah. So you realize, and most of the people being affected or being used are the people on the lower economic cadre, because you will not see most of these principals' children fighting or throwing stones on the street. It's only the low income, guys who basically.
Do you feel like an economic revolution would lead towards a peaceful country?
I believe if we all, are able to, get into business, grow the businesses, you won't have the desperation of 20 shillings, 50 shillings, 100 shillings. There's a very, very big difference between someone who's living in some of these, fine leafy areas and someone who's living on, I think you get what I'm saying. Yes. I realize the election will go on. Someone living in Karen will not even feel anything. However, the heat and the whole mood changes when you're on this other side of town. So my thinking, and that's why we really come in and say, okay, fine, we want to make sure that we empower people. So for us, using the .ke brand, let's get online. You don't need an office to basically start a business. Yeah. Go online, you can start your business, and you can trade. And as you trade, you build yourself, you build your wallet, and you're able to resist some of this temptation to take 100 shillings to throw a stone. Yeah. Yes.
I'd really love to continue these conversations, but because of the interests of time, I think I'll just get to one question, and then
there's an urgent issue that I think Mrs. Karanja brought when she was here that we need to emphasize, because the spectre that we need to pay attention to is the spectre of the social media, fake news.
True.
And that is actually where, because in 2007, the war was actually driven by vernacular stations. Right now, the danger lies with the social media. And just imagine for a moment, because this is likely to be a closely fought race between, if you like, two horses, Honorable Deputy President and Honorable Raila Odinga. I mean, if you want to be serious, that's how it is. Just imagine for a moment if it gets too close to call, like it was in 2007, between Honorable Raila Odinga and Mwai Kibaki, with the kind of social media access that young people have, and somebody decides to unleash a tweet that is inaccurate, that is not true, but that is, hate speech or something. That's where the danger lies, and that's why we need to really demystify that specter of social media so that we pay attention to what she was saying, that before you post, because we need to tell our people in case we get that close, because we are so close to the edge, by the way. It is, I agree with Daniel, that we have matured up, we learned our lessons, but if it is too close to call, an election as significant as this one, and with the social media access that we have, I think we must now move the conversations to the possibility of fake news, alarming breaking news that are not true, and how that reaction, what that could do to the peace in the country, so that we tell people tone down, wait for, probably verify, cross-check, watch the TV, because now the Media Council is doing quite a lot to ensure that there's professionalism. The Media Council, the Editors Guild, and so on. But this specter of social media is unregulated, and bloggers are on the prowl, posting anything. And my fear is, in the event of a tight call, someone sparking, or throwing a tweet that is inaccurate, or sending reports that are inaccurate. And I think for a moment, it should not be far-fetched to imagine, for the sake of peace, taking some measures to ensure that social media is not misused.
But you being in government today, Dr. Ezekiel Mutua, do you think the government is doing enough to regulate politicians, especially on hate speech? But before you answer that, I'd like this panel to get a little youthful, ladies and gentlemen. Sawa? Are you guys ready? So the long-awaited celebrity is here. Niliwambia nikiwa primary school, I used to sing his music. Number 9 wapi, number 9 on. Octopizo wapi, Octopizo on. Get that, buy that. Wazi na amekam na mandula, Octo. Join us. Wapi makofi ya Octo? Octopizo. Octopizo, if it were not for employment, I would have your hair. But then again, the industry. So ladies and gentlemen, one more time, a round of applause for Octopizo. Exactly. So Daktari, I'm going to get back to that one. I'm going to get back to that particular question, because I feel like there's so much depth towards that, because hate speech is something that has been propagated in different platforms, not just social media and media, but it's also been propagated in churches. And you find that some religious institutions, not just churches generally, but other religious institutions, they usually give politicians a platform and a podium for them to propagate hate speech. So I just want to take one question to the Reverend, because we're almost finishing, and then I'll stay here with Octopizo Kidogo. I'd just like to ask a question. Do you think the church is doing enough to try and spread the gospel of peace in relation to warning the politicians against malicious hate speech and stuff like that? Reverend?
I very much think the church is doing something about it. And as much as we preach the gospel of peace in the Church of Jesus Christ, we also call people to reason together. And politicians come to our churches, and when they come to our churches, they come on appointment. If a politician wants to come to a church, they'll come on appointment.
Yes.
And therefore, we'll negotiate the terms. Yes. If he's coming in, we say, okay, if you are coming for the service, tell us if you're coming for the service, then you will attend the service, and we'll give you an opportunity after the service to greet the people. And if you are not coming for the service, then come at the end of the service when we're just finishing, and then you'll get in. And I believe it's not only our church that is doing it. I believe all churches now are doing it.
Yeah.
And I think the Council of Churches has agreed, and I think that is the way we
So unapitia content kama vile Ezekiel, upitia content ya vitu. So that's exactly what you do. Unapitia content before anything.
Yes.
All right. So we're almost coming to a close of this amazing panel, but I know we still have Ezekiel's question to get on board. But then people would like to listen to Octopizo's voice. Octo, salimia wafuasi wako. Wapi makofi ya Octo?
Niaze.
Rada safi, rada safi.
Rada safi. Wagwan. So ladies and gentlemen, with the interests of time, I beg to just remain here with Octopizo, and then later we're going to be having the African Evangelical Association. But before we do that, I'd just like this amazing panel to give their last summations. And as they give it, Dr. Ezekiel, kindly highlight on the question, which is very important and burning, on the matter of hate speech and also what the government is doing. So,
for me, Chair,
yes,
it's
sir.
even more of a blessing turned into, the double-edged sword of the social media.
Yeah.
I think, because you saw during an election as far away as the United States of America, during the insurrection at the Capitol, you remember? A Kenyan guy in Nyeri tweeted that let's ban the Capitol. Do you remember?
I do.
And it caused such an uproar across the globe.
True.
And in the United States in particular. Let us not underrate what these keyboard warriors can do. Yes. If a guy seated in Nyeri, in somewhere in Escuela, could tweet about the insurrection at the Capitol, saying let us ban the White House, or where was this? They were saying they banned. But that tweet went viral. I remember I was out of the country. Yeah. And it was as disconcerting to everyone across the globe. And this was a guy in Nyeri. Wow. You can imagine closer home here what it can do. And that's what I'm saying in this conversation.
Yes.
Because there should be, and I'm sure there are many people who are paying attention, all the policymakers, the people who are involved, let us pay attention to that very moment when the results are being posted, who is posting, and whether they're accurate, what can be done to ensure that what we are getting, because emotions get so high when we see my candidate winning, and it's going in a certain trajectory. Then something happens. Somebody sends a tweet that is misleading. So that is where the danger is. And knowing that what that gentleman did in Nyeri and the uproar he caused in faraway land in the United States,
crazy.
I think we have a reason to worry in terms of what the social media can do.
Any last encouragement to the people out there, to the youths out here? Thank you, Mr. Daniel Juma. Probably from you as we finish, and then we get to...
Mine is, we don't have another country. Guys, this is the only country we have. Ultimately, like someone has said, if you have traveled and you are exposed, you know, elections do not matter so much to you and me as a common mwananchi.
Yes.
So we should just go vote our candidate in peace. We don't have to insult anybody on social media. You don't have to insult anybody on the way. Go vote, go back home, wait, and also wait knowing that your candidate could win or could lose.
Yes.
Whatever the results, the outcome of this election, that will be the IBC to determine or to count and make the call. For us, whoever wins won't be our president.
Oh yes, oh yes. Thank you so much, Dr. To you, Mr. Daniel Juma.
Thank you. Mine is to tell you that, that in 35 days we go to an election. It will be peaceful. We will have a president. The president that will be elected will be a Kenyan. All these parties, whether it is UDA, whether it is Azimio, whether it is Roots Party, Agano, these are legitimately registered political parties in the Republic of Kenya. Anyone can be president, whether it is Wajakoya, whether it is, Hasla, whether it's Raila Odinga.
Oh, yes.
Let us be ready to accept them as president. But lastly, I want to say that I represent the KEPSA, and we have a campaign called Kenya Daima. So here with me, I have Peace Pledge that I will distribute to everyone. And we want you, and we are, on 9th, we are also signing peace pledges with all the presidential candidates.
Amazing.
We are asking everybody here and everybody in Kenya to be ready to keep peace. Wewe fanya wajibu wako. Wewe piga kura, wewe ngoja matokeo, ukubali matokeo. Lakini another thing, most important, vote for the right leader. It doesn't matter which party. Vote for the person who will be able to have your aspirations, taken care of.
It doesn't matter the party.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Hawa ni wa Kenya. Wapigie kura. Whether it is so and so, whether it's so and so, do not look at someone's party useme wewe juu unavaa yellow, wewe ni mtu mbaya.
Kabisa.
No, huyo pia ni Mkenya. Wewe anavaa blue, wewe ni mtu mbaya. No.
Yes.
We must be able to normalize our elections and know that elections are supposed to be celebrated.
Oh, yes.
Elections are supposed to celebrate our democracy. It is not an opportunity to burn down this country.
For sure.
Thank you.
For sure, for sure. Mr. Tuva Adams, Tuva, industrial leader.
Yes, so my thinking is that most of these problems are caused by money. So if we can have our young youth starting early, preparing to get into business, senior positions like doctors and, different ways of making money, I feel that is the only solution. Once our pockets are lined, right, the rest ceases to become a headache. So as we go into voting and, as we prepare, there'll always be voting after a couple of years. If we can start now to prepare, set our, put our books in order, if it's education, people are winding up, get into employment, get into business, that will save us in the future. It will have less, a better impact on our country when every single person has an above board job or is in business, compared to most of the solutions we'll be able to use. So what I'm really pushing for is for our young people to really get into business, legit business, right? Genuine business. Be ready to grow slowly, right? At the end of the day, it will come.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I'll encourage for the young people who will be voting.
Thank you so much, Reverend. As we close,
I believe from ourselves or from our own families or from where you are, we need an understanding that a voter's card is your right, and is your right for your planning and for everything else. And therefore, whatever we use it, whenever we use it, let us know that we are directing our future. And let us vote. Let us not sell our cards.
for sure.
God bless you.
Asanteni sana. So ladies and gentlemen, to our 4 panelists, and I'll be main with Octopizo. Wapi makofi yao, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Ezekiel Mutua right here. Asante sana, asante sana. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause, please. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, right here we have them Kenya Daima Peace Pledge, and Dr. Ezekiel Mutua of MCSK has already signed it. So I encourage each and every one of you, please, make sure before you leave this particular place, I think the ushering team is going to be directing these peace pledges to each and every one of you, and you all could have an opportunity of signing it, and please drop them back to us, and we will be able to drop it to Kenya Daima and also the Global Peace Foundation office. Wapi makofi yao, ladies and gentlemen. Octo P-I-Z-Z. Ebu fanya hiyo kitu Octo kwanza. Fanya hiyo kitu kwanza tu.
Uchachishe. Hiyo ni ya kitambo.
Hiyo ni ya kitambo? Wololo. Kwa hivyo ni update server.
So update server.
Vipi Octo Pizo?
Poa sana.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Tumeambiwa jam imekufanya ile kitu.
Kiasi.
Lakini umefika.
Nimefika.
Octo Pizo, karibu sana. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Octo. Santeni sana. So Octo, I have just 2 questions for you, and then we'll leave you to do your short session. And then we're going to be having a little girl who wants to perform for Dr. Ezekiel Mutua, who's going to be coming through. And then later we have one final presentation, which is going to be dope and legit, courtesy of the African Evangelical Association, AEA, which is right here in the building. And I can tell you, you guys would not want to miss out on that, because we have some amazing goodies that is also coming with that particular presentation. So ladies and gentlemen, that's one thing to look forward to. So Octo, where were you in 2007 and 2008?
I was in a place called Shilanga in Kibera.
Ati?
Kuna place Kibera inaitwa Shilanga.
Shilanga.
You know, yeah.
Sound Kiluya, Chilanga.
Tunaitaga Sri Lanka huko.
Sri Lanka.
Huko tunaitaga Sri Lanka.
Kulikuwaje, where sasa since ulikuwa in that place that was hit hardest?
ilikuwa normal. I don't think people really understand what really happened. Watu walikuwa watch to TV. Most of the time I see people talking about it like they really understand, but they don't. People have not healed over the years. That's people is like now it's not people are scared there's gonna be war. People are just living in fear.
Yeah.
Because those memories keep like flashing every time there's an election. Those memories are flashing, and it was so bad.
But your trauma iko?
Sana. Since, Kibera, what people don't understand, Kibera has 14 villages.
Yeah.
Yeah, people think Kibera is one place. There's 14 villages.
Yeah.
During that time, all these villages, people lived mixed. It was like metropolitan Kibera. Now it's not the same. There's an area code that you'll just find mostly Luo guys.
Yeah.
There's an area that you'll mostly find Kikuyu people.
Yeah.
And then there's a place that is more metropolitan.
Yeah.
You see? And that is like that until today. There's people who lost their houses. My landlord walichujwa kwa ulikuwa area yenye hii side ya wasendo wengi.
Yeah.
Those people have not healed. Kama ulichukuliwa nyumba yako ilikuwa na like 14 doors. How, like even you take 20 years, you'll not heal and you didn't get paid.
Yeah.
Hiyo ni something anaishi nayo every day.
Anaishi nayo.
So what we should be talking about, not only during election time, but every time is reconciliation. And this kind of people who are like nyumba zao zilichukuliwa ama zilichomwa, wakwe compensated. That has never happened in most of these informal settlements.
So to my final question, what steps of reconciliation is Octopizzo Foundation carrying out towards ensuring that this doesn't happen again?
So for us, since March, I partner with IBC and the EU, and mostly we were reaching to young people to register to vote because there was so much apathy, and I don't even what percent of young people really registered to vote. Because one, I feel like all those bodies that were supposed to be like giving us the civic education were not giving us. It's the same way they said, you'll never see a politician go campaign in Runda. They don't go campaign in Runda. They come and campaign in Kibera, na Ocha. Because they know people are desperate in these places. They know if they give you 50 shillings today, you can throw a stone. But how do we change that?
Yeah.
How do we change that? We need to create programs for young people that they don't only think when it's election time is only to vote for the president. Because there's no way, even if the president was your brother, they'll ever come to your hood and tell you like, oh, now we're going to sort this out.
For sure.
The most important person is the MCA.
Yes.
And maybe the member of parliament.
True.
Those are the people you can reach. But you see, even all the time we're talking here is always about the president, the president, the president.
True.
And this is where we should change the narrative. Like every young person should be more like asking like, who's my MCA? Who's my member of parliament? Yeah. Sometimes I could just go and vote for those two people and go home.
Yeah.
You have that choice. Actually, IBC allow that.
Is that what you're planning to do in 2022?
I don't know what I'm planning to do yet because I haven't really gotten somebody that have sold me.
Yeah.
What I'm planning to do is I'm planning to vote for any young person running.
Any young person running.
Any young person running.
Yeah.
They'll have my vote.
Do you think that should be the line that people should be taking?
I think as young people, we should start doing that. We should give them a reasonable doubt. I don't think when it comes to leadership, it comes with like years of experience.
Yes.
No. Like if you look at the generation before, like let's say the Jomo's generation, the tomboyers, they were 21 and they were doing those stuff.
Revolution.
What were we doing when we were 21? That's the thing we should be asking.
What
were we
you
doing when we were 21?
When you were 21?
When Tomboya was 21, he was the chief campaigner for JF Kennedy.
Yes.
And JF Kennedy won.
True.
Tell me one 21-year-old in Kenya that's actually doing this stuff. So it goes back to us. One person can't give you a solution, but I feel like if we start looking at young people and say like, oh, this young person is running for this thing.
Yeah.
We want to push him and try to help him get in. So maybe you can't change this from outside. You have to be in the system.
For sure.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Octopizzo. I think I'll now leave it to you two. You had a session? Oh, okay. Amesema hakukuwa na session. So ladies and gentlemen, Octopizo number 8. Wapi makofi yake? Asante sana Octopizo. Thank you so much for coming to Daystar. Wapi makofi yake, ladies and gentlemen, one more time as he leaves on stage. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So ladies and gentlemen, we know that we've actually skipped a couple of things because of the interest of time. Yes? Sorry, I thought that alikuwa ananipatia some information. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that we've actually skipped a couple of things because of the interests of time, but Hope, hi. You're good? You'll get your chance, all right? We'll give it to you, don't worry. Ladies and gentlemen, Hope, kuja wakuone ndo wajue uko. Come. This amazing, fine young lady. Wapi makofi yake, ladies and gentlemen. Kuja hivi. Hata nikushikia mkono, lakini ni kitu ya watu wakubwa. Ladies and gentlemen, wapi makofi yake, ladies and gentlemen. Hope, chukua mic uongeleshe watu uambie kitu. All right, just pick it up. Is it working? Okay, let me. Hope, how are you?
I'm fine.
Are you excited to be here?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 11 years old.
You're 11 years old?
Yes.
This whole crowd here is waiting for your performance, all right? And tell them that they need to be here to listen to that power pack performance. Tell them, waambie, lazima wakue hapo wakusikize.
You must be here so that you can hear me.
Mmesikia, ladies and gentlemen? One more time, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Hope. You're going to be performing right next after this presentation. Sawa. Keti tu pale, ile place, salimia Octopizo kidogo, ndo Octopizo pia akutambue. Sawa, wewe ni namba 9. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, allow me to invite Reverend Dr. Doge, all the way from the African Evangelical Association. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is from Senegal, and he also sits in the Football Federation of the African Cup of Nations Cup. Oh, from the African Cup of Nations winning team. I'm talking about the Senegalese team. Wapi makofi yake, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Doge, the platform is yours. Yes, sure. I could get some assistance to carry this, to move it to this place.
Thank you very much. Our chief guest, Dr. Mutua, and our host, Professor Bowen, all protocol observed. I am very much privileged to be here this morning, and I'm here speaking on behalf of the Association of Evangelicals in Africa. I'm standing for our General Secretary, Dr. Master, who have to travel this very morning for Central African Republic. We are having almost the same event like this. It's a graduation, and he will be there and coming back next week. So he asked me to come on his behalf and to be here with you. And I must say that I'm very, very much honored to be here this morning and to speak to this august assembly about peace and spreading peace through the mechanism, if I can call it, as such of religion or religious diversity to champion really peace and cohesion. And to come to a program like this one is really appropriate. And I want to really thank God. And thank you, Prof, you didn't preach. Because I wanted to use the very same verse that you have referred to in Matthew chapter 5, verse 9. I'm not going to preach either. I'm a preacher. And I'm not apologetic about that. I'm a preacher. And I truly believe that God has planned a day like this, that we can come together from all diversity. I am a Senegalese, and you can notice that my English is not good. Don't worry, if I'm stuck, I will speak in French. And I'm not afraid because I'm in a gutter of learning. And I'm expecting that we have some Francophile somewhere in the hall that can just catch up and be my good interpreter. Can I find such in Daystar? Yes, so I'm very much happy. No, but don't worry, I won't speak in French. Like I say, I come from Senegal. Senegal is a small country in West Africa, close to the farthest point in Africa in the Atlantic Ocean. That is Senegal. And like my friend just said, we are the kings of Africa when it comes to soccer. So just relax. I know I'm in the country of the Simba, but again, by the way, in Senegal also we are Simbas, because that's the lions of Teranga, which happen to just be the very same thing. You are the homes. I like that, doctor. Exactly. And by the way, those are my fans. You know, I just know it's not a matter that whether we will win or not. It's how many medals we are going to go back with. So it's very sure we are going to have them. So again, but turning back to what really I wanted to bring to us, the Bible says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." Africa is a continent of a lot of ambiguities and a lot of contradictions. It is a continent it's somebody could have said, and I don't want to be very rude, a continent that is ridiculously rich. And I put in quotes. I can speak freely because we are in, again, a gutter of learning. It's endowed with natural resources, yet it remains one of the poorest continents of the world. Some of these conflicts we are talking about are active, some are latent, but all are really preventable and need home to grown approaches. And AEA, which is the Association of Evangelicals in Africa, an umbrella body that brings all evangelical churches, and this represents 200 million evangelicals in Africa, holds both the proclamation and the demonstration of the gospel. And on the main, the gospel espouses both love and peace. It's not just about just preaching, but living to even provoke the question that the only answer will be Jesus. So yes, we proclaim, and I want to target in this way. We want to marry the Great Commission and the Great Command, which is to go everywhere and to spread this good news, but also to love my neighbor as I love myself. So Christ himself is the Prince of Peace. And if I call myself a Christian, I cannot run away from the fact that I have to champion peace. Coming from Senegal, like I said, my country is 96% Islam. Christianity is roughly about 4 to 6. But when we talk about the church or the evangelical, we are 0.2%. Now, just imagine in that cocktail, how then can come that these people can live peacefully, hold different functions together, and you never know or hardly hear about somebody tampering with others. And we live peacefully. You can Google what I'm saying. Senegal is the champion when we talk about interreligious dialogue. People live peacefully, and somebody said it here. We should not allow ourselves to be picked and manipulated for the interest of a very selfish person about his own interest. So some conflicts in Africa, like I say, arise at every cycle of election. We are in the next few days. Today is the 6th. On the 9th, we are going to have our election. Just a little above a month. Am I correct? So what are we going to do? What goes to happen depends on the way we are engaging. And my brother rightly said, it's not just about voting the president. It's at all levels and at all layers, to the very grassroots. And it's where we have to really leverage to bring the change. So the process and activities leading to elections, election count, and post-election atmosphere are causal and recipes to some conflicts. And this is motivated by peace, desiring to be an agent of peace. AEA has developed political campaigns, peace gauge, to mitigate, and mitigation tool. We call it PCP GMT. And through this tool, AEA assesses political campaigns to identify causes of conflicts and mitigate political space with peace messages. Christ says in Matthew 5:13 and 14, you are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled upon on the foot. You are the light of the world. He's talking to the church, to his disciple. A town built on a hill cannot hid himself. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. And Reverend talked about it. Of course, as a church leader, as a religious leader, everything that happened in this nation rises and falls in the leader you are. Whether you are a church leader, whether you are a mosque leader, whether you are a Hindu leader, whatsoever it is, the kind of audience you have, none of the leaders has it, except during a campaign. And that campaign cannot last more than 60 days. But as a religious leader, every Sunday, every Friday, or every Saturday, whatsoever day you use for your worship, you have a captive audience. And in that captive audience is the most complex society you have. You have the judge, you have the hustler, you just name it, and all of them have your ears. Am I correct? So the message you bring is very important. And in fact, if you are going to set this country in fire, it's depend on you. So the narrative has to change, and it must change from the pulpits, because you are the one that people listen to, and you have the right and the responsibility. And in fact, we are the laboratory and the conscience of the society as church leaders. So what I'm going to do is to talk about the importance. Yes, my voter's card, we call it PVC, is a very powerful tool. Am I correct? Somebody said, but they can give you 30 bobs and buy it. But it's for the next 5 years. So your voter's card is your power. And you can place there anybody you want, but also you can fire. These are your employees. I hope you know what I mean. You are the one that employ them. So you can fire them. And for you to fire them, you need this time in which we are. Listen to what they are saying. And then you have the capacity to sanction them, either positively or negatively, but not going down on the street. It's just a matter of using very well your card. And it's a right as somebody. So what's the importance of religion in peace work or peacekeeping, or even in promoting peace in a time like this pre-electoral period? The following principle reflects some of the AEA learning that shape practices in linking religion and peace building. Number one, many, like I say, religious leaders carry a very positive moral authority within their communities and have significant potential to mobilize communities for peace and demonstrate courage in the face of destructive conflict. When anything wrong happens, people don't run to the state house. They run to the church or the mosque or to the temple to get refuge. Am I correct? So that's the place they will come if anything goes wrong. So if it is this will be their refuge, and I happen to be one of the leaders that are there, then I have a responsibility. Number two, religious organizations provide a network of relationship, resources, and institutional arrangement that can be mobilized for peace and for reconciliation. And frequently, these networks link the international community and the local communities together. When it is very heated, people will go to the church and say, can you be the ambassador? But actually, UN or other bodies don't even need to come to the church and ask whether we can. The Bible says we are the salt of the world. Somebody say we don't need to ask what's wrong with the world, because that diagnosis has been made very long. It should rather be what's wrong with the church. And if you get that answer, you know what is happening in that place. Religious belief form basic precepts within communities that must be understood and built upon for conflicts to have lasting settlement. Somebody has said, I think it's our poet that was saying that, because my candidates lose, I forget that the person I'm going to throw a stone at, I am hanging my cloth in his in the compound. Why should that be? Or why should I be afraid? Because there is election, I have to go back home. Why? Because in the community I live, I think my brother says it, it's like this community tends to be majority here, and I am minority. It shouldn't be like that. Kenya is ours. From the west to the east, to the north, to the south. I can go any part of this country freely. Why? Because I am a Kenyan and it's my Kenya. I shouldn't go the other way around. So many religious, motivated people act as first responder in times of crisis and show sustainability, perseverance in the long process of building a durable and just environment. The second thing I will say before I close is cooperation with other faith-based or with non-religious stakeholders in peace building. AEA seeks to cooperate and collaborate with all organizations, whether faith-based or non-religious, who work for the good of the people and seek to build sustainable peace and just communities. Because again, what we are called to as a church is not to just connect people with God, but also with themselves, the other, and their environment. And as a church, we have to not only engage with those people at that level, but also see a change in our societies and in the community in which we are. And that's our role. As I'm talking about the church because that's what I know best, so that I won't err or say otherwise. So it encourages mutual understanding of each other's belief in multiple contexts, as each person is related respectfully to all. And they even demonstrated here. I come from a home, I was not born a Christian. Like I say, where I come from, we have 96% Islam. I was not born in a Christian home. And in the same family, you can have Muslims, Christian, ATR, and whatever. And they all sit on the same table and eat at lunchtime. Yes. At the same time. And we have different opinions. We can engage one another to at every length you want. And yet, when the table is set, we sit down together and eat. And when we get out of there, everybody respects others' opinion. So in conclusion, there are only but 4 things. Amid the whole profound brokenness, God's peace is the risen Christ. And he is now at work, seeking to reconcile humanity with God in the sole intended purpose for union with God, union with one another, and with the material creation. And we are called to care God's creation, which will result in the flourishing of all. And from Genesis to Revelation, that's what he's seeking. And dear friends, and mostly young people here, I want to say, like our motto say, Nairobi Ni Yetu. We don't have any other one. This Nairobi is mine, is yours, is ours. Nairobi belongs to us, and I mean to us all. And it is our responsibility to not burn it down and to not allow anybody to instrumentalize us to burn it down. We don't have any other country to live in. This is our country. So again, may I say, Nairobi Ni Yetu. Can we repeat that together? Nairobi Ni Yetu. God bless you. God bless Nairobi. God bless Kenya. And God bless Africa. Amen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause for him. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, sawa. So right about now, without further ado, I would like to invite Tuva to come and give a speech. So kindly, let's appreciate Tuva as he comes on stage.
We said we are generous on the clubs. Ama njaa imeanza kuingia? Njaa imeanza kuingia? Ay, kama uko na njaa unaniona tu after this. We see what we can do. Sindio? Aya, so let's give a round of applause to Adams, Tuva, Adams. A better round of applause, please. Karibu sana.
I was hoping for the mic because I have a presentation. Yeah. Oh, sure. It's a presentation.
James, Gabriel, kindly, a sec. There's a presentation that's supposed to be coming from this laptop. I don't know who's in charge of that.
So Angie, as Tuva prepares for the presentation, I would like, ladies and gentlemen, because he's in a hurry, so I would like you to help me welcome the chief guest for today, Dr. Ezekiel Mutua. Kindly, let's appreciate Dr. Ezekiel as he comes on stage. Wow, so bubbly.
He actually deserves a better clap. As a chief, let's stand up. Kidogo, tu hata usitrench kidogo. Yeah? Ama DJ amepotea. Kama kuna kawimbo hivi. Ndio hiyo.
So I'm told in that spirit,
yes,
your psych will invite Hope to come and do an honor invitation.
Let's give Hope a round of applause, please.
For Hope.
I don't know why I actually thought she was 7. I can't remember myself at that age. Jeez, I was not 11. This enlightened. Let's give her another round of applause. This courage, it's amazing. Watu wa camera. I don't know if we are ready in terms of the mic. Uko juu, DJ amerudi, kila kitu iko sawa? Aya, sawa. We can have our seats and the chief guest. Oh, no, let me call her the mini chief guest, and then now we have the chief guest. Sijui kama ataonekana. Camera people, mnataka asimame wapi? Aya, sawa. Who? Yes. And before she performs, she has a really touching story. If you can get time, just go on YouTube. Her mom is called Regina Wainaina, right? Yes. And you'll find a clip there and you'll get to know her story, because I'm so sure she can't say her story right now, but it's really moving and it's really encouraging. So the stage is yours, Hope.
Hi, everyone. Hi once more. My name is Hope Amboy Ochieng. I'm 11 years old from Peace Junior School, and my piece today is about hope for peace. Welcome. Take a moment and listen as I raise my voice of hope for peace, full of courage and boldness, a voice for the voiceless, young, innocent, current and future generations who are not registered voters to vote wisely and assure themselves of a peaceful and a sustainable tomorrow. But proudly Kenyan citizens by birth and given a chance to vote, we shall vote Kenya, we shall vote peace. Wakenya, msichochwe. Say no to political violence. Say no to tribal violence. Ama mtajipata kwa character development. Without political and tribal differences, look how sweet and young we are, full of smiles of hope for a brighter and a sustainable tomorrow, which lies in your hands as Kenyan voters. Kindly vote Kenya, vote peace, and let our tomorrow be real. And since life is a two-way traffic, our tomorrow will never be so real or successful without Mama Mboga, the security guard, the garbage collector, the boda rider, the matatu crew, a friend to joke with and share our valley dreams. An accountant, Jamam Kokoteni. Yes, because we are one nation, one people, and our tribe is Kenya. Be your sisters and brothers' keeper before and after elections. Vote Kenya, vote peace. I hope Amboy Ochieng, as a scout, stands for peace in my efforts to make this world a better place. I will, and I must join SDG 17 in partnership to support SDG 16 for peace, justice, and strong institution. Hashtag hope for peace. Hashtag vote Kenya, vote peace. Hashtag peace first. Hashtag messengers of peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Hope, you're so amazing. Now, before you started, you said you would like me to support you. How do you want me to support you?
There's some more poems for peace. I would like you to help me to get them in YouTube. And
How much, what does that require? Do you know? Yeah. All right. So to cut the long story short, let's appreciate Hope again. Yeah, so let me cut the long story short. Whatever it takes, Hope. Yeah, whatever amount of money. So don't ask anybody else for money. Whatever it takes to have your pieces, your content on YouTube. Felix, where you'll be seated, the gentleman standing. Give him your details. You'll be my host next week. Is your mom available? I want to buy you lunch or dinner at Serena or a place of your choice, and then we discuss how Music Copyright Society of Kenya will support you to put your content on YouTube, okay? So whatever it takes, you are in safe hands. And for now, in appreciation of the great piece, I'll give you some 5,000. So Felix will sort you out. Just ensure that you give us your details, okay? Please appreciate her once more. So Hope goes with 5,000. I want to appreciate our two MCs. They are so amazing. Honestly, it is good to see people are using their talent to create a job for themselves. Because when I listen to the guy who did the poem here, the MCing, you know, they don't get you tired. I will also buy them each lunch of 5,000 shillings. Yeah. I wish I could give something to my all-time favorite, Octopiso. There are two musicians, by the way, that I love most. And I had the opportunity of meeting one. I have always admired Akode. We ended up fight with Akode and she thought I hated her. I was saying to whoever, to whom much is given, much is expected. I was telling Akode, since 2016, you have so much influence on our young people. You can't be walking around naked. I was on her neck. She hated me. She fought me. But now you can't believe it. We have been communicating even while I was seated here when she's in France. And she's one of my favorite musicians. And you can't believe the other one is Octopiso. And then Wahoo and her husband. Okay? There are many, but those ones are on the top list. I admire you, my bro. It's good to see you. Thank you for your humility. And thank you for the grace God has put in your life. That talent will build many. And you lead by example. You are a model, and we admire you, and we appreciate you very much. Please appreciate them. I think Octopiso, being a senior member of MCSK, so this one will have a separate conversation. But for my MC, for the two MCs, and for Hope, at least I came to share. We are blessed to be a blessing. There's a time I used to be so poor. Poor people used to call us poor. So when I got money, I told God, if you give me money, I'll be sharing. So me, I had some 20,000 to share with this meeting, personal, not for MCSK. 5 goes to Hope, 5 to 10 goes to the MCs. So who is taking the other 5? Can the crowd decide? Yeah? Israel. Wow, voted by anonymous vote. The other 5 goes to Israel. So my 20,000 is gone. And when I go to sleep tonight, I'll be happy that I shared. I'll be happy that God blessed me. I have slept without food. I walked 50 kilometers to school. I have faced the vagaries of nature. And I told God, when you bless me, I'll be a blessing. So I'm not showing off. If you have ever suffered, if you have ever gone without food, if life has ever visited you, yeah, and done you bad, you know, life can mistreat you, can treat you so bad until you feel you are the only one. So then you know. Allow me to be very brief, and I am so sorry that I'm interrupting the program. I'm hosting a very huge group in my office at 2, and some of them are CEOs of other organizations. And as a host, I feel so embarrassed to be the host and get there late. They will not understand how beautiful this meeting was. Allow me to just speak and leave, and then the other speakers can go on. Really, the chief guest doesn't have to speak at the end. Let me begin by appreciating how deeply grateful I am, profoundly grateful I am to have been invited to this meeting. And let me say to Professor Michael Bowen, the principal of Daystar University, thank you for your warm welcome. Mr. Daniel Juma, the executive director of Global Peace Foundation, you have been a brother and I appreciate you. To our speaker who has just been before me, Dr. Eloy Dengue. That one is hard. I am pronouncing it from where I come from. So that shows you that I also know another language, just like him. Yeah, the executive director, mission and evangelism, Tuva, Reverend Wilson Omido, Octopiso, my brother, and all the speakers and guests who are here, all protocols observed in the interest of time. Let me thank you. The student leadership, everyone who thought of me and invited me, to all the students who came, all the participants in this peace forum. You are the most amazing Kenyans that we have. You are the model that we should pick. You are the example, and we appreciate you and we honor you. Let me begin by saying or quoting Nigerian novelist Ben Okri, who once wrote, "To poison a nation, poison its stories." I will repeat that. To poison a nation, poison its stories. Make them bizarre, negative, hopeless, unhappy, painful, negative, and toxic. Poison them through their stories. Tell them there is no hope for tomorrow. I always say, if a nation must lose everything, it must never lose hope. If an individual must lose everything, they must never lose hope. Yet this is what Ben Okri is saying. To poison a nation, poison its stories. Because a demoralized nation tells demoralized stories to itself. And he says, beware of storytellers who are not fully conscious of the importance of their gifts and their talents, and who are irresponsible in the application of their art. They could unwittingly help along the psych destruction of their people. I was, like I said when I was in the panel, I was the Director of Information and Public Communication in 2008 when war broke in January or towards end of December. And I saw the pain of a country in turmoil. I was a journalist at the Nation Media Group when Nation was the leading media group in Eastern Central Africa in 1994, when Rwanda genocide took place. I have been blessed to be old enough in my 50s to have witnessed events globally, to have seen Saddam Hussein, and to have gone through the drama of Afghanistan, to have read and witnessed the stories of Osama bin Laden. I've been old enough to have witnessed the 1998 bombing of the American embassy here in Nairobi and the destruction it caused. I've been around when all these calamities have taken place. Largely, these stories of hate and destruction are driven through the media. Until October last year, I was the CEO of the Kenya Film Classification Board, and the media called me the moral cop because I stood for what I believed was the right thing, and that content that we consume shapes our values, and particularly for the impressionable minds like children, we need to be careful on the kind of content that we expose them to, because we are what we consume. The music you listen to, the art you watch, the news you watch, the films you watch shape your character. Your stories inform who you become. If you stay around toxic people who always criticize and tear each other into pieces, you are likely to become one. So, Ben Okri, a Nigerian novelist, says, beware of gifted people like Octopiso. Gifted, talented, with influence. You saw we were all here. Nobody was celebrating us until he came in. Okay? Celebrities with power to influence. If he stood here and says, let's go this direction, I can tell you, we old people will be left here. You might have money, but they don't care. But Octopiso will move them to the directions he wants. And how I wish, my brother, you use that influence. Be proud of it and walk tall and influence it towards the cause of godliness, parental respect, and governmental respect, that there is order in society, and you fill our minds and our brains and our hearts with positive content, because that's how powerful you are. Please appreciate Octopiso. So, stories define people's stories, people's history, and aid in shaping their future. And as Ben Okri says, once people's stories have been corrupted, their fate is doomed. And that's why I am speaking about this subject in the context of peace today. Africa has suffered the consequences of having its stories portrayed in negative light by the West. Most of the media in the West for a long time projected Africa as only a continent of war, civil strife, hunger, poverty, and backwardness. And despite the fact that we have produced some of the greatest minds, and we're one of the richest continents in the world, sitting on minerals that are rare to find anywhere else, and being the ones who feed other continents, we have been portrayed as backward, as dark, as people who are doomed into darkness. And yet our story is amazing. We are the ancestral home of the former president of the United States of America, Barack Obama. In fact, I'm sure my brother Israel will tell you that it is his cousin who once ruled. Octopiso might lay a claim. I am sure Juma always uses that to speak in global meetings and to connect with his audiences that Barack Obama is my cousin. But do I say? In the booklet, The Danger of a Single Story by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, she warns against misunderstanding of others, noting how generations of misrepresentation and stereotypes have dominated mainstream Western society. Amanda argues, she argues mainstream narratives reduce others in quotes, because this is how tribal wars begin, when we have them versus us. So they reduce others in quote unquote to damaging stereotypes. Wanjaluo ni wajeuri, instead of seeing the positive ethnicity, the pride of a Luo. And I believe I'm a Luo, by all measures, save for where I was born. Because the pride of a Luo is something to be proud of. How they love their women. Don't you want to be loved by a Luo? You know, Luos are great, by the way. You don't know, you didn't know. There's something positive, something sexy about Luos. Amazing, guys. They are not proud. They have a swag. They are educated. They have class. They have finesse. Positive ethnicity. The Kalejins are not warlords. They are the elitism of a Kalejin. They can run. Those guys can win mentors. Are you not proud of Faith Chepyegon? Do you watch these athletes from the Rift Valley, the land of champions, the home of champions, when they are making Kenya proud? The industrial spirit of a Kikuyu. My wife is a Kikuyu, and I tell you, they are not thieves. They only work hard, and they know how to invest. I don't forget my own tribe, the loyalty and faithfulness of Akamba. Oh, we are loyal to the core. We don't betray people. We are loyal to the cause. That's why even during Kenyatta days, the chief of the general staff, if you check, majority have been cows. Let me bring it even back home. If you want to have a house help, a house manager who is loyal, you can leave them with your baby, the most delicate. Take a cow. And hallelujah. No, this is positive ethnicity. So you realize that people have changed what was meant by God to be the bouquet, the blend that makes us wonderful. And they have used it negatively. But I came here to tell you about 3 things that contribute to greatness. 3 E's. Write them down or put them some. They are easy actually, you don't need to write. Education, experience, and exposure. Let me finish you by telling you my story. I told you I was born in a place that is not on Google Maps. Even now, it's called Ngolene. Google and see. Ngolene village in Machakos County. My father blew Karubo. So you can imagine, our place was the place where there was all manner of brawls and fights. But he was so good at it that one time, a teacher came to partake of that Karubo because that was the best. There were no bars or clubs in our area. So my father used to attract clients from far and wide. One teacher called Anton Monyao, God bless him, he's still alive and we connect, although he's now aging and dementia is cutting in, came to take off that thing in our compound. And we lived in a shack. When rain came, there was no difference between when you are outside and when you are inside. And this teacher engaged me, and I was very young, and I don't know what he saw in me, but he bulldozed my dad to take me to school, arguing that this boy is intelligent and could be the salvation to this home. He saw the hopelessness, he saw the poverty, but he saw a future in a young boy. He saw the end from the beginning. And the following day he came for me and took me to Ikumene Primary School in 1977. The rest, as they say, is history. I went to many schools because of lack of school fees. In my secondary school, I think I covered about 4 schools. But I ended up in Kenyatta University for my first degree in sociology and linguistics. While there, I met a girl called Dr. Jane Wanjiku, who happens to be my wife of 25 years. She came from the other side of the world. She had a pedigree. She came from a home where there were 2 principals of secondary school. And actually, she comes from the home where Equity was founded. That's where I married. So you see, when I have money, when you see me in a new suit, please respect strategic marriage. Don't, you know, somebody was saying, I think it was Professor Bowen, unazaliwa kwa village, unakulia kwa village, unasomea kwa village, unaoa kwa village, you die in the village. No. Nikatua mistari kwa huyo msikiana. It didn't matter, by the way, that she had been to Kenya High School from 1 to from 6. And that I gone to school that are not on Google Maps. But we meet at Cambo, and there, you don't ask the background, it is mistari ile unatoa. And that's why I say education is an equalizer. So nikachomoa mistari. 25 years down the line, that is my wife. She went to Kenya High School, an elite school just across here. I went to schools that are not Google Maps. Gentlemen, education is an equalizer. It is empowerment. It is the key. Get education, but more than education, be disciplined. Exposure, experience. Learn to do something new, to learn something new every day. Whatever career, whatever craft you are pursuing, always embark on a journey of knowledge and never settle to say this is enough. Octopiso, my brother, there is more music to learn. There is more music to do. There is more music to impact the world. Traveling and getting global exposure. And let me tell you, I never been to this city until when I came for my further studies. But I've traveled to over 200 towns and cities of the world, and I've been a globetrotter until now. I have a journey to Jamaica this month, and I'm looking for somebody to represent me. Because I'm looking at New York, then connect again, and I'm like, my wife was telling me now, umezeeka. Kama unakataa kuingia ndege, umezeeka. But it's not kuzeeka. It is sometimes taking stock of what God can do when you give your life to Him. When you walk right, like Lupita Nyong'o said, no matter who you are or where you come from, your dreams are valid. And I came to tell you that the story of peace is not just about elections. It's about our wholesomeness, our whole life, and how we behave and how we live with one another. When I talked about moral values, I was not being religious, a religious zealot, and I wasn't pushing a dogmatic belief. I was saying we as Africans have our own culture. We have a sense of right and wrong. We know how to say thank you, brother. We know how to say excuse me. We know how to say those simple, basic words that we were taught in school. And that no matter where we go, no matter where we come from, if we uphold discipline and a sense of decency, we shall rise and shall sit with the kings and with the great people. Wambui just gave us an example today, Hope Wambui. And I pray that all of us as we go into these elections, we'll see it beyond the characters that are involved. We'll see it as our responsibility. If it was left to you, Brother Israel, how would you conduct yourself? How would we, what kind of a country would we have? When I wake up every day, I tell God, give me the opportunity to be a blessing, to encourage somebody, to uplift somebody. And I pray that as we go into these elections, particularly you young people who are on social media, you will refrain from that keyboard warrior tendency. You will withhold your anger, and you'll turn away your mind from the insults, and you'll embrace peace. And where there is insult, please respond with kindness. Where there is bitterness, respond with kindness. Where there is hopelessness, give hope. And let us, all of us, rally together uphold the peace of this country, and not allow other people to tell us their stories. Say, I am responsible, ni wajibu wangu, and I will uphold peace. I will put this country forward. I will be my brother's keeper, I will be my sister's keeper, and this country will not go back to 2007 because we are just too good and too smart to be duped. God bless you and thank you very much. Asanteni sana. And I will ask to be excused to leave. God bless you. I really apologize. I'm so sorry. Israel will have the money. Okay, or the MC. Yes. Okay. Don't say something to sign here.
Kwa wale wanafikiria nimepokea Ezekiel, sijaona message ya M-Pesa. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an amazing session. We're going to be doing a peace pact. So I would just love our guests to come on board. Octopizo, please. Together with our guests. Yes, tufanye together. Please, Reverend, please come on stage. Octopizo, the young at heart, are just like going through that big staircase. So ladies and gentlemen, the following activity that is going to take place right here. All right. It's being commissioned by none other than Dr. Ezekiel Mutua. It's a peace pact signing. Wapi makofi yao, ladies and gentlemen. Being commissioned by Dr. Ezekiel Mutua himself, alongside our amazing guests, talking about Mr. Tuva Adams Tuva, ladies and gentlemen, talking about Mr. Daniel Juma, all the way from Global Peace Foundation. Oh yes, and the Association of African Evangelical, the Association of Evangelicals in Africa, AEA, that's going to be led by Dr. Doge himself. So ladies and gentlemen, right there is Mr. Daniel Juma himself. Wapi makofi yake, ladies and gentlemen, akisign the Peace Pact. Mr. Tuva Adams Tuva also doing the signing of the Peace Pact. And then after the guests, it will be followed by the leaders of, or rather the representing student leader from Daystar University, and also from TVETSA, and then from the Nairobi Student Leaders Forum, who are the organizers of this particular event. Makofi yao as they do it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Hope, kuja. Uko na signature? Kuja. Reverend Wilson Omido. And ladies and gentlemen, just to surprise you, Reverend Wilson Omido is my dad. And he said that he's going to come. And my mom is also there. Mom, wave wakuone. They said they have to come. Wapige makofi. Thank you so much, Dad and Mom, for coming. So much love for you. So AEA being represented by Dr. Doge right there. Makofi yake pia. Taking it back home. The Nairobi campus principal, I'm talking about Professor Bowen himself. Very smart person. You know, Dr. Bowen akosangi story kila saa unaenda kwa ofisi yake. Amazing person. And ladies and gentlemen, the performing artist himself, I'm talking about none other than Octopizo. Number 9, baby. Wapi makofi yake, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Daystar University Students Association, Nalwa. Oh, Hope. Sign. Asante sana. Makofi ya msanii akisign. I have personal interest to check out that signature. I would like to know. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, courtesy of Buy Domains Kenya, we have a gift hamper for our chief guest, Dr. Ezekiel Mutua, and also other guests, courtesy of Buy Domains Kenya. So ladies and gentlemen, Buy Domains Kenya, they are actually having an offer for those of you who would like to buy domains. And in fact, they're giving you SSL certificates, which are security certificates, for free. And they're also giving you a 1-year paid for free domain. And I can tell you one thing for sure, is that is one heck of an offer. So I'm just going to hand over the mic to Mr. Adams, Tuva Adams. You're going to do the gifting presentation. So right immediately, the student leaders are done signing. So, Dusa, have you signed? Umesign, eh? All right, all right. Just before the official photos start, just before that start, yes. Yes, Mr. Ezekiel, we have a gift hamper for you. Anachukua namba. So, Bonventure, tafadhali, courtesy of Tivetsa. Thank you so much. Makofi yake kwake. And then I'll also do the signature courtesy of the Nairobi Student Leaders Forum. Okay, do so. Oh, they want to take, poleni watu wangu wa mapicha. All right, all right, all right. I'll just do one. Oh, here. All right. Israel. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. Makofi yangu hata nisikie vizuri. Whoops, the pen. Naserian, youth leader. And there was also a representative from Narok. Please come. I just want the peace ambassador from Narok. Please come, gentlemen. Please. All right. And so, Professor Bowen? Yes? Yes. All right, so I think we can just walk right here. Mr. Tuva Adams, all right. I'd like you to, Mr. Tuva. All right, courtesy of Biodomains KE. Makofi yake kwake, ladies and gentlemen. Asante sana to all our amazing guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's been quite one heck of an amazing ride. Courtesy of Professor Bowen, tafadhali. Amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so right now I'm just going to hand it back to the MC. Mr. Joel the Poet, where are you at?
Yes, I'm here.
You're here?
Yes.
Sawa, endeleza na event vile inafaa.
Sawa. Has it been amazing? I would really love to hear some feedback from you guys and what you guys have got from the event. So I want us to do something, yeah? Angie, unanipea gifts? Nipe zote.
Mic check. Thank you. That is how much I love you.
Niko na mtu. Pole.
We are from Preaching Peace, so when we say we love, it is peace oriented. Now we're just talking peace, yeah?
So I want us to do something, yeah? Let's be on our feet kindly. Let's be on our feet. Just kitu kidogo and then okay, sawa. I want us to do something small, yeah? See, we've done the peace declaration and peace advocacy, yeah? So this side, nataka mkuwe nitafanya. Sema nitafanya. This side, mkuwe jukumu. Sema jukumu. Na this side, ikuwe jukumu langu. Sema jukumu langu. Are we together? Let's try. Sawa, watu wenye tulienda polling station na hamtajua hii song for sure, but kuna hii song inaenanga You get it? Sawa. So this side itakuwa nitafanya and then this side will be jukumu and then that side will be jukumu ni langu and then amani. Are we together? We can try that? Yes, let's go. All of us? One more last time, and please give me some energy, bana. Don't be boring, bana. Give me some energy. Nitafanya? And then? Fantastic. And have our seats. Angela.
Yes, sir. Hi. Wait, let me tell you guys, yeah? I'll keep on, enlightening you guys about my job. Yeah? So when you're an MC, one thing, the worst thing ever is to actually wear heels. Yeah? Lakini luku ni lazima. But anyway, because the running up and down you do, it's a lot. But we thank God for the opportunity, don't we?
Yes.
So Israel, I don't know where you were at, or some. I think they've gone to see Mheshimiwa off, Dr. Ezekiel. But before that, as I said, By Domain came with goodies. I don't know about you, but I love me some t-shirts. But it's just an easy task. Jumlishinda kuniambia domain ni nini. If you did your research well, there's By Domain Kenya, but Adams is a group of companies. Who can just guess? When someone has a group of companies, what is the other thing that they do? Like, unafikiria anaweza kuwa anafanya nini? In a group of companies. Like when I say Angela Mwangi, because that's my name, Angela Mwangi groups. Group of companies. Naweza kuwa anafanya nini? Anyone, mtu anaweza shoot mkono ni muone alafu asimame aseme. Something random? Production team. Hata wako hapa. Someone just say something random. What do you think when yes, please. Yes. Yes, that is like when you, okay, I get you. Round of applause for, but my question is, Adams has a group of companies. One is the By Domain. Who can take a guess which the other one is? It's something very common. Everyone actually, what about Adams Arcade? What? I am, yes? Yes, real estate. Unless things changed. I'm still on the right track. So now, since we have a guest here. Yeah? Sasa, Marco, unaona aje? Hii shati iende wapi? Between wewe and Daktari over here and Prof. Lakini Prof, wewe naona ni suti. Hii utavaa ukienda wapi? Yeah, itakutosha. It's actually your size.
Marco.
Okay,
tunajua size
your
yako.
size. So I'll give Prof to donate it to someone. Good?
Hey.
There we go.
Daisy kujia
So
t-shirt.
Daisy, come for your t-shirt. I have one more. Joel.
Yes.
Do something with that one.
Hii t-shirt. Unaona hii t-shirt. It's red in color. Valentine is coming anyway next year. So it's red in color. I want to ask a fine lady. Anyone who thinks she's a fine lady? Anyone? Confidence zero.
Excuse niko hapa nyuma.
Kuna mmoja pale. Come. Tumo-appreciate akikuja. Fine girl. Nikisema fine girl mnasema looking sharp. Fine girl. Yes. Sawa. Kindly. Si yako, nataka sasa upe mtu. Yes, look for someone and give it to someone. Ama you can decide to keep it for yourself. That's up to your discretion. Sharing is caring. Unataka kupea nani? Anyone. Hatutakujudge. Wapi makofi akienda kupea mtu wewe? Amepea msanii. Msanii amepata nguo ya performance.
Wow. Anyway, so guys, we are going to be inviting none other than the owner of the goodies, the brains behind the goodies. Thank you so much, Adams, for all you've done. Mimi nikianza kuongea nitaandika kitabu, and we don't need a book right now. But yeah, so let's give him a round of applause as he comes to say something small, maybe just give us a bit of motivation, because he's a young person. Msimuone hivi.
Yes.
He's young, and yes, him running a group of companies is quite a task. Atupe Syria, looking this young. Yes? Let's give him a round of applause, please. A better round of applause. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm waiting for my presentation. So as I wait for this, I still have this. I don't know who wants this. Who wants? What should I give you? Yeah? Just stand and tell me. Yeah, you need it. Who else? Why should I give you this book? Just stand up and tell me. You're saying? to remember the event. Who else? Yes, madam. That's why I should give you this book. Okay. Who else? Who? Yes. Yeah. 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 Okay. Cool. Who else? Yes, sir. Okay. Cool. Yes, sir. Ah, yes. Sorry. Okay. Just give me a bar. Amen? Amen? Okay, come. Cool. So it's a pen and a notebook. Yeah, yeah? It's not. Okay, cool. So, guys, apparently my presentation is all opening, but I'll just summarize what I wanted to tell you. The first thing is, you with me? Cool. So the first thing is, we do a lot of things, but our biggest brand is Bydomain Kenya. Bydomain Kenya has over 22,000 clients to date over the last 10 years. So it's really grown. Sort of talking about 22,000 is a lot of, it's a very big account. And we intend to get to 100,000 in the next 1 year. So that's why we are really working together, the TVET programs with the universities, to see how we can make sure every one of you has a domain. So the main reason we were here is that we were hoping to give each one of you a .co.ke domain or a .me.ke domain. So the first thing that you will do, it's not for free, right, but it's very subsidized, right? So the offer we were running today is that we'll give you a free domain, we'll give you a free SSL certificate. Who knows what an SSL certificate is? SSL certificate. Anyone? Anyone? It's what? Security what? Okay, Google is a friend, yeah? Oh yeah? Cool. So we'll give you a free domain, free SSL, as long as you get your own hosting. Hosting is around 2,100 plus VAT. So I don't know whether you can open, are you able to get to my personal profile? Just open tuva.me.ke. So for you guys, what is most relevant might be a personal profile. So I'll give you an example of mine, right? And there's a very lively lady here called Emily, who'll just hang around. I think she can stand up. So if you want to take advantage of this deal, we've created a promo code called KE -peace. Yeah. So you can use that. You'll get the deal you're given. If you want to do it, maybe you want us to help you out with the same. You'll talk to Emily, right? She'll be around, or you can even talk to me, right? My phone number was on the presentation, but I'll be around so we can exchange numbers and see how we can help you get your personal domain. So for today only, till midnight, we'll give you a free domain valued at 1,550 plus VAT for the whole year. We'll give you a SSL certificate for free, valued at 3,600 plus VAT, as long as you pay for your hosting, right? So, sorry, just go to tuva.me.ke. Me.ke. So the most important thing I feel as young professional you need to have is a proper online presence. So in addition to your FB, IG, LinkedIn, you need to set those properly done, but having a personal profile is one of the best things that you can do. So I get to do a lot of TV interviews, radio interviews, and I don't send out any paperwork. I just send my link, which summarizes everything that I've done, right? So it summarizes the TV interviews I've done. It summarizes how many times I've been on the newspaper, right? Pictures of places I've gone for events and all that. So what that does is allows the producers to narrow down to this guy is an expert in ABCD, right? So I don't go for relationship interviews, right? Because that is not my strength, right? Other people do that, right? So based on my profile, someone can easily skim it and say, okay, fine, we'll call Tuva for this particular event because of his history in ABCD. So even for those still in school, for those who are professionals, it's a very good thing to put all your work in one place, right? So I'll give you an example. This is mine. Just scroll down, or just scroll up. So we're in ICT, we are in real estate, and we run a CSR program called the Booster program, right? So just by that, you can see everything that I do. So for us, for me, I realize sometimes I wear a suit, and because I deal with the youth, sometimes it's less formal. So even whatever I put on the website, it's determinant on, where it basically tells people I'm in corporate, but I also deal with a certain age, right? Just scroll up. Right, so our biggest brand I put at the front, the .ke brand, right? The Booster program is also on the right, where we do training for young SMEs. Scroll up. Right, my other interviews, right? So it's a very easy page. Scroll up. Scroll up, completely up. Okay, and then now you can go to the top. So we'll go to About Us. The profile, sorry. Right, so I think you're getting the picture, right? So it's a summary of most of the things that I do. So this will give a brief bio about me. It will give you a link to some of the businesses that I own on the right? It will give you a link to the Adams Group website, right? So whether or not you meet me or not, you can basically get a general idea of what I do. And that's what most of you need. Right, so based on this offer, you can ride on it, and then we'll work out how we can develop your personal profile. And all this is because of the .k. You don't need to open that. So just go to media. So for example, if you have if you're selling online, you're selling a particular item online, you can have a shop, online shop on this. I don't, right? So it doesn't add value to me. We have other platform to blog. So if, for example, the only opportunity for you to blog is on this, then we can create for you a blog for this, right? But we have other platforms we use to share our work, right? So get in touch. Right? Yeah, so someone can send us, can call, can send us a message. I don't put up my personal number on that, but if you want, we can, I'll share that with you. Yeah, so basically you've introduced yourself, you've had a brief about what you do, who you are. You've told people, this is what I've done, and this is how you can contact me. In a brief, simple page. And that's what most of you need at this point. Right, so you'll talk to Emily, she's here, or you can talk to me. I'll be around during and after the event, and then we see how we can guide you through this. But the most important thing, in addition to this, is having online presence, either for your business, right, or for yourself as a brand. Right? Any questions before I sit down? Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Agwin Onyango. I'm a legal practitioner, but also work with the Global Peace Foundation. Yes. I wanted to ask about giving traffic to your domain. Yeah. You can have an online presence, but there's the question of traffic vis-a-vis the market or the customer client end. Yeah. So I wanted to ask, how do you give an extra with the two?
How do you get traffic?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so traffic comes in 2 ways. Actually, in many ways, but it starts from the domain name. So realize for me, I've bought my name. I've bought Tuva Adams, tuva.me.ke. That's where it all starts, right? We sell domains. The name of the business is Buy Domain Kenya. So it's very strategic. You don't just buy a name for the sake of, it must make sense to you. So for example, I would advise you, to buy your name, because most of the guys who go and do Google search on you will search for your name, right? So most people associate me with Adams Group. So when they do the search, they'll search for Adams Group. So we've bought adamsgroup.africa, right? We write articles for the Chamber Press, the National Chamber of Commerce, right? We have the chamber.press. So those are very specific names linked to the businesses we do. We own Soko, so we have Soko website, Soko.website. So all those names are very strategic, and that's why it starts. The second item is, how do you name your pages, right? So for example, if you open one of my pages, at the end, the extension is /get in touch, right? If you go to About Us, maybe it will be about me. So how you name your pages, so that's a bit technical. You wouldn't really, maybe whatever, but how you name your how you name your titles, right? You're writing a blog. What is the title you give it, right? So that you have guys like Kenyans.co.k. They do very well because of the title, the catchy titles they give out. And last but not least is the content, right? The quality of content should not be copy-paste. So what Google does, it basically has a record of everything that has been written to date. It will just check, compare, and know you have plagiarized. So as long as the content is plagiarized, your ranking goes down. So when you're churning out content, right, it needs to be original, right? And then the frequency of the original, so how often do you churn out content? So your ranking is literally equivalent to those factors, right? So it gets technical, but at least with that, you get an idea of what you need to do. Original content and frequency. Great? And then by your name. Any other questions? That's it? Where? Where? Okay, just stand up and...
Kindly, just come.
Okay, my name is Frederick Odur.
Yes, sir.
I'm the creative director, Telescope Company.
Of which company?
Telescope.
Okay.
So my question is, are there a limited number of extensions? And if there are, what is the renewal fee?
Okay, that's a great question. So, for example, most .co.k domains are 1,550 plus VAT. That's our rate. And for us, we deliberately charge higher for .com because we're trying to push the local brand, right? So if you go for a .com, we'll charge you 1890 plus VAT per year, right? So for us, it's deliberate. We sell both local domains and international domains, but as a company, we came up with a policy to say that we want to push local.k domains, right? So we're making it painful for you to get a .com, right? So long and short, .me.ke and .co.ke, 1550. It's 1,550 per year plus VAT. Affordable, right? So you get yours today? Yeah, good. Talk to Emily. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Let's give him a round of applause. Kindly, people. I know we are tired, but we have a little bit of more energy in us. Let's give him a better round of applause as he leaves the stage. Actually, Mr. Adams, kindly don't leave with, we have something small for you. Sylvia, kindly. Yeah, Sylvia is our Daystar University Students Association representative. He is the money, not he, she. She is the money, she's the treasurer. So she will present one of these fine goodie bags that we have. We also, you came with yours, we have ours. So maybe we can just move at the middle. Yes, Emily, are there any photographers remaining? Ama sisi wote tumeishiwa na nguvu. Aya, there we go. Okay. Emily, please, you can Sijui photo. Oh, ndio. Thank you. Here's a photographer. Thank you so much, Mr. Adams. Sylvia, just don't leave the stage. You're going to give us a vote of thanks. I know you aren't prepared, but it is what it is. As a leader, you should always be prepared.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I know we are all tired. I'm also tired. But thank you for coming. The event was a success. Amma, it was good. I hope we all enjoyed. We got something. People are here. Talk to people. Make connections. Network. And God bless you. Going back to your institutions or wherever it is that you're from, share the message. And God bless. Daystar was very happy to have you. Thank you.
Sawa. And you have something?
We can close with a word of prayer.
Yes. We have been your host. I'm Joel Mumu.
I am Angela Mwangi.
Yes.
And I will kindly ask Reverends to do us the honor of giving us a word of prayer. But thank you so much, Mr. Adams. It was good seeing you after very many years. But I really appreciate all of you coming, all of you being present. Thank you so much. I hope you've learned something, yeah? Haujatoka bure. And the forms that you were given by Prof. Yes. Actually, Daniel Juma, Mr. Daniel Juma, kindly make sure you send them, leave them at the door as we leave, yeah? Sawa. Reverend, kindly. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Angela, and thank you, our host. Thank you for having us. Nairobi yetu ni jukumu letu. Bwana asifiwe sana. Basi wacha tuombe. Mungu Baba, hatuna budi kurudisha asante na shukrani kwa jinsi ulivyo Mungu mkuu na kutupatia nafasi na fursa katika chuo hii Bwana, ili tuweze kuzungumza mambo ya amani katika taifa hili na katika miji na jamii, na tunakushukuru kwa wale wote ambao wametoa ushauri mwema na ombi kwa ajili ya amani katika nchi hii. Tunakushukuru kwa vijana wetu wanapoelimika ya kwamba Roho wa Bwana wamewatangulia na wamekuwa wamekuwa wenye sifa kwa kulitangaza amani. Wabariki kila mmoja wao anapoendelea katika chuo hiki, na pia wale wote ambao wamesimama nao katika maandalizi haya. Tunakushukuru kwa sababu wewe ni mwema, na tunapoambukana mchana wa leo, wachilia amani na wingu la amani litawale nchi hii kwa utukufu wa jina lako na kwa baraka zetu. Ni katika jina la Yesu Kristo tumeomba.
Amen. We can leave. There's another event happening here at the auditorium. So kindly, if we want to interact with our guests, we can interact with them from outside. There's a corridor out here. So it's been nice. Until next time.
Oh, to our guests, senior guests, Reverend Eloy and the others who just want to have a minute with you at the boardroom. I think Mezamai. We can get us Mezamai. All of them, yeah.